everybody, and welcome back to Crime in Sports.
Yay!
Oh, yay indeed, Jimmy. Yay indeed. My name is James Pietragallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I'm Jimmie Whisman.
Thank you, folks, so much for joining us today on the ongoing saga of Billy Martin. Couple more parts to go on Billy. It's all a downhill slide from here on out. He has long hit grace, and it is just an alcoholic haze of fists and handcuffs and women and just a disaster coming up here in the next few parts. We'll get into that. First of all, though, definitely do yourself a favor. Head over to shutupandgivememurder.com. Get some merchandise for any of the shows that we put out, Your Stupid Opinion, Small Town Murder, or Crime in Sports here. Do that. There are no tickets available right now. Everything is sold out for December. And new slate of live shows for Small Town Murders coming out very soon, though. We'll be announcing those. They'll be on sale in December, so that's exciting. Get your holiday gifts there over at shutupandgivememurder.com. Definitely get yourself Patreon. Patreon.com/crimeinsports is where you get all of the bonus materials. It's great stuff. Anybody $5 a month or above, you're going to get so much stuff. First of all, a huge back catalog of episodes you've never heard before, the bonus episodes, hundreds of them on there. You'll get those as soon as you subscribe, and then you get new ones every other week, one Crime in Sports, one Small Town Murder, and you get it all. You just say, take everything. No, this week is no different. This week, what you're going to get for Crime in Sports, we're going to talk about, this is a weird one. It's fun, though. We're going to talk about how many cyclists die in competitive cycling. It is
in the midst?
Dozens. It's insane. This is like the most dangerous thing that's ever happened, this cycling crap. It's wild. So we're going to go back and hear stories of people being mangled. It's awesome. I can't wait to do that. Then for Small Town Murder, we're going to talk about Charles Starkweather, who killed 11 people and blamed his teenage girlfriend. So that's a...
While he's a teenager.
Well, he's a teenager, but she was a much younger teenager. That was even though they're both teenagers, you're like, that's not a good, I wouldn't allow that if I was the father, which is how the whole thing started. And we'll get into all that and more. Patreon.com/crimeinsports. And you get all the shows we do, Crime in Sports, Your Stupid Opinions, and both Small Town Murder episodes every week, all ad-free with your Patreon as well. Ad-free. And you get a shout-out at the end of the show as well, where we will thank you by having Jimmie mispronounce your name. That's how we give gratitude. That's all we have to offer. I'm sorry. So that said, let's dive back into Billy here and see where Billy is. When we left off, Billy had just met a local South Bronx teenager who everyone thought was 16, but we know is 19 based on court records and things. But still
that's a gal.
Way too young for Billy. And they were together and... everybody, he was taking the family, this chick's family around on the road and all this type of shit. So, okay, here we go. Let's read from the book here. We will start. I believe this is late 79 is what we're doing here. In a late October, after a week-long hunting trip with his Minnesota buddy and restaurateur Howard Wong, we've heard so much about Howard Wong.
Howard
Wong's been involved in a lot of Billy's fights. Billy and Wong returned to Minneapolis. Billy planned to catch a late flight to Dallas to do some more hunting with Mickey Mantle, but the flight from South Dakota was late and Billy missed his Dallas flight.
Oh, no.
He got a new one the next morning. Billy searched for his hotel, but his usual choices in the Minneapolis area were full. Wong suggested the Hotel de France, not far from Wong's restaurant. Wong drove Billy to the hotel and double-parked his car at the entrance. Billy checked in, put his bags in the room, and the two men went to a bar in the hotel restaurant, of course, obviously, the Café Colette for a nightcap, which in Billy's case usually meant at least 2 or 3 drinks. As often happens, some of the bar patrons recognized Billy.
Right. 2
traveling salesmen seated next to Billy and Wong struck up a conversation. How do you think this is going to end?
Here we go.
You think they're going to be buddies and this guy will join, these traveling salesmen will join the next hunting party with Mickey Mantle, or do you think the police are going to be called?
Punched in the nose.
Or is there going to be broken glass at the end of this? I feel like someone's going to be getting a broom by the time this is over with. Okay. Wong struck up a conversation. Or they struck up a conversation with Billy and Wong. One of the men, Joseph W. Cooper of Lincolnshire, Illinois, did most of the talking to Billy. Billy was usually happy to talk to people in a bar, but he didn't like being lectured about baseball. Oh, no.
What's he going to tell?
Yeah, he's going to tell you need to put the hit and run on when you got no. What are you going to tell Billy?
Tell me about the squeeze play, you son of a bitch.
Jesus Christ. Cooper had helped finish a bottle of wine at dinner and had a few after-dinner drinks when he approached Billy, who probably had as much to drink. For whatever reason, Cooper decided to share some of his baseball opinions with Billy, and the subject was a poor choice given his audience. Cooper wanted to discuss the recently named 1979 Managers of the Year, an award Billy had won twice. Cooper said he thought the winners, Dick Williams in Montreal and Baltimore's Earl Weaver, deserved the award. Okay, seems harmless.
But Earl Weaver is kind of
that's
thorn in my side.
Exactly. Yeah. There you go. He said Cooper might as well have kicked Billy in the groin and jabbed his thumb in his eye because Steinbrenner was always threatening to replace Billy with Williams. Billy hated him, hated Dick Williams. Weaver and Billy were friendly, but they were also arch enemies. Billy thought Weaver got away with manic on-field histrionics that were no different from his own, and yet Weaver still had the unqualified respect of baseball writers and administrators, while Billy was called out of control and a troublemaker. Right. Because Earl usually doesn't beat people up in bars afterwards. That's why. Yeah. And he never beat up a reporter that I know of. That's the problem.
Anybody way out
he's not dating a teenager from the South Bronx either. So, he's not dating a sophomore. Late on a long day after a crappy season, Billy did not want to hear about what great seasons Dick Williams and Earl Weaver had. So Billy said to Cooper, Dick Williams is an asshole. Okay. They both are, and so are you for saying that. So Cooper let the remark pass. The bar was busy with conventioneers, and Billy was signing autographs. Billy asked Cooper, what do you do for a living? He said, I'm a salesman. He said, what do you sell? And he said, marshmallows.
Uh-oh.
Who the fuck sells marshmallows? Do you need to sell marshmallows? Don't they sell
They'll
themselves?
Sell themselves, right?
When you need them, I got hot chocolate packets. I need something in here. I don't feel like you need to really sell marshmallows very much. As Cooper told the story to the New York Times a week later, he and Mr. Wong thought that was a big joke, as everybody does. They had a big laugh. Yeah, we just had a big laugh over it. You sell marshmallows, you fucking weirdo. Billy had another drink and chatted up some other people at the bar. Cooper remained in his seat alongside Billy. Here, versions of the story differ. Okay, as usual. Although the one Billy related and the one Cooper told remained fairly consistent over time, Wong told a wild tale to reporters afterward that had Billy hardly even present other than being introduced to Cooper.
Oh.
Yeah, totally cut Billy out of the mix because, that is not a credible version. Yeah, everybody else had a much different version. In Billy's telling of the next several minutes, Cooper was rude to him and kept bringing up the Yankees' failed season. Cooper wanted to know what Billy was going to do to fix the mess the team was in. Imagine going up to somebody, anybody else, and being like, what are you going to do to get your department sales numbers up? Because I'm telling you right now, the ROI is not on it. Like, you wouldn't do that to anybody else in the world. Why Billy? Why are you fucking with the one guy who, at least if you did that to someone else, they probably wouldn't punch you anyway. Yeah. So anyway, Cooper was never mentioned those comments in his account. One thing is certain, though. Billy at some point decided he had had enough of the marshmallow salesman. All right.
Tired of talking to you.
Tired. Billy's anger toward an antagonist or a perceived antagonist could intensify the longer that person hung around. Billy finally said, tell you what, Joe, and he laid five $100 bills on the bar.
Okay.
He said, I bet you $500 to your penny that I could knock you on your ass.
Oh, shit.
Okay.
That's $500. You put up a penny, and I'm going to throw a blow at you.
And I'm going to beat your ass. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cooper, who was about 3 inches taller and 40 pounds heavier than Billy, did not respond right away. But Billy did not take away the $500 and did not stop reminding Cooper about it. In Billy's side of the story, he eventually picked up his money and left the bar. Cooper followed him and shoved him from behind, and when Billy turned to confront him, Cooper swung and missed. Billy then punched Cooper in the lip, and the marshmallow salesman collapsed with a thud to the marble floor of the hotel. Billy went to his room. A hotel security guy found Cooper on the floor and helped him to get to a hospital where 15 stitches closed the gash in his face. Billy's got sharp fists.
Wow.
He really does.
Was it his fist or was it the marble that did that shit?
Who the fuck knows? I feel
Doesn't matter.
Billy seems like the type of guy that would wear at least one World Series ring, though.
No,
Doesn't he?
Yeah.
just to show you, I'm Billy Martin. Here's my World Series ring.
Even
it's a
if
conversation starter.
Yeah, right. Yeah, even if it's not that one, it's a pennant ring or some sort of ring.
Now you're wearing the big one with the diamonds. If you want to talk to some lady,
I'd probably wear. I don't know how
that
Michael
impresses
Jordan does
teenage
it. I'd
girls
wear
from the Bronx.
every fucking ring I had.
Yeah, there's a picture of Yogi with all his rings on, but.
Does he wear? Did he wear them all the time? Because I would.
No, because he had 10, so you'd have to wear them on his thumbs too.
Yeah.
So that was you couldn't do that really. Yeah, once you get past 8, it's really difficult. You can, but it's.
I'd make fucking brass knuckles.
A little weird. I'd say once you got 8,
smelted. Yeah,
you're good shit at that point. Okay, now that's not what happened. Cooper said though. Cooper had a different story. In his version, it was his own ego that got the best of him. Cooper said, "Time comes when pride comes into focus. I put a penny on Billy's 500 and said, let's go." The two men left the bar. Between the bar and the lobby is probably about 30 feet, and there's an archway in between, Cooper said. He was ahead of me and I was behind. As we walked through the archway in the lobby, he abruptly turned and hit me in the mouth.
Okay.
Cooper gave that account a week after the fight. Cooper's a married father of 2. He wanted to forget about the incident, and he figured Billy probably did too. Both men checked out of the hotel the next day, but the hotel security guard, who didn't witness the fight, there was no witnesses other than these two because they were alone, did call the local police about the injured traveling salesman. Billy's name naturally came up, and since he had been seen with Cooper for at least 30 minutes in the bar, then someone in the Bloomington police alerted local newspaper reporters who wrote about the incident 2 days after the event, and it became a huge fucking deal. And here's a headline: "Latest fall guy might trip Yanks Martin." So, yeah.
The newest guy that got drilled.
Another guy who got knocked out. In this article, they go on to say the latest guy is a marshmallow salesman who travels. This is another stroke of luck because a guy with stitches in his lips can still sell marshmallows. The incident could have had more of a significant effect on Billy's job, which is managing the Yankees off and on, because he's been fired so much. It is on again since June when Steinbrenner lifted his parole. George Steinbrenner said, "What is Billy supposed to do when guys nudge him? When they break his balls, what's he supposed to do?"
Sure, yeah.
He's out there, you know what I mean?
He's not supposed to fight?
Steinbrenner said he's supposed to turn the other cheek. He promised he would.
Yeah.
That's what it is. But, that's not going to happen here. Steinbrenner said, "We can't just have him getting into these things every 2 months. It's not good for the Yankees organization." No, but it's very good for the crime and sports organization. So we really appreciate that shit. That's
newspapers. It's good for a lot of organizations.
It's good for a lot.
Not yours.
Just not yours is the problem. Steinbrenner said, he's talking about the Yankee image and all this type of shit. What is the Yankee image? I mean, Babe Ruth was a drunken. He was a great player, but I mean, a drunken. I don't know what the Yankee. No, all sports players. There's no image. If you have an image of a sports player, you're probably going to be real disappointed if you ever knew what they were really like.
Never read a book about Ty Cobb.
No. Well, actually, yeah, because half of it's lies too. He got made.
Really?
Remember we did a Ty Cobb episode. And the guy who wrote the book just made it all up, made up all the shit that he said. Remember all the he murdered a guy and all that shit. Just made it up.
But he's
all
still
the racism.
A bad guy, right?
He was
really?
A dick,
that was all made up?
Yeah, the guy made up. We did a whole episode about it. It was like 3 hours
remember
long.
All
I don't
that?
know. I don't know. We do a lot of episodes of everything.
Was it a Patreon one?
No, it was like a 3-hour episode.
Holy
Might have been 2.
Ty Cobb?
I might have been 2, but I think it was 1. Yeah. We did a whole episode where, the guy admitted he made up all the racism shit. He just...
What the fuck?
Whole cloth made it up. Just completely.
Unbelievable.
So George said, "I had made a commitment to take him back in 1980. He was not drinking at the time. He was just great. So I did it sooner." So here he is. Now he's out there fucking, farting around, beating people up in bars, drinking, So anyway, in the aftermath of this, from the book, it says, the first stories said only that a hotel guest who had been seen with Billy ended up on the lobby floor with a split lip. So it looks like, pause from the book. Basically, the result is the result. Billy punched this guy and fucked his lip up. How the fight occurred is up for debate.
Doesn't matter.
Billy will sucker punch you. He does it.
For sure.
So I believe this guy's account of...
Yeah, but he just spins around and got drilled? Is that that's what he's saying?
Billy turned around, popped him in the lip, which that sounds like Billy.
Yeah.
I'm getting the first shot in.
Yeah.
And that's how it's going to work. So It sounds like him. Anyway, it said it did not take much of an imagination to run with the possibilities, especially the likely possibilities. Eventually, a police report surfaced, and in it, Cooper said Billy hit him. Billy denied it. His first response, delivered in a statement, was to say that Cooper slipped and fell and cut his lip. Yeah.
Like an abused, yeah.
I was going to say, Billy's standing next to a woman with a black eye going, she just can't get down those steps right. I'll tell you what. I got to put carpet on them or something. They're slippery.
Doorknobs get her, and,
boy.
and the steps get me.
So he said that's what Billy thought. He was on his way to his room. He wasn't paying attention to Cooper. An alarmed Steinbrenner did not believe Billy and said he was launching an investigation. I'm launching an investigation. Imagine Steinbrenner. Yeah. Oh, Jesus. Steinbrenner was also being pressured by Commissioner Bowie Kuhn, who announced that he might instigate his own investigation into Billy's increasingly tumultuous off-the-field conduct. Oh. George called Eddie Sapir in New Orleans. That's the judge guy that Billy uses as a lawyer. So Sapir said the first thing he said was, who the hell is Howard Wong, and why is he always around for these fights? Howard Wong is always at some point we got to kind of blame Howard Wong a little bit here, because if you're always involved, it seems like you might be egging this on or whispering some shit in Billy's ear or something, right? I would think. It was a good question, the book says. Wong was a friend and often in bars with Billy, but apparently not young enough or burly enough to prevent a fistfight when one was brewing. Sapir suppressed a laugh and gave Steinbrenner a similar explanation, but the Yankees owner grew serious. Somebody is lying, he told Sapir. As he listened, George continued. Eddie, that guy in Minnesota fell and hit a marble floor. The manager of the New York Yankees probably put him there. The guy could have hit his head and been killed. What would we do then? I can't keep going through this. So Sapir said, later on, he said, but I didn't have a comeback for that. I couldn't refute any of it. The fact was, Billy was in trouble again. And we couldn't turn that one around.
Here we go.
Yep. Steinbrenner never released the findings of his investigation. He didn't have to. 5 days after Billy popped the Marshmallow salesman, who said too much about Dick Williams and Earl Weaver, on October 29th, 1979, Billy is fired again. Fired again.
See you around, Billy.
Yep. That's fucking wild. Joe Cooper, the Marshmallow salesman, said, why would someone in his position jeopardize his career for something as foolish as this?
Great question.
Yep. So George has fired Billy again. Billy's still denying throwing any punches at that point.
Really?
Denying any of it. Yep. So, by the way, here is a quick recap of Martin's problems up to this point from a newspaper article of the day here. July 14th, 1952. Involved with a fight with St. Louis Browns catcher Clint Courtney. Courtney suspended for 3 days, fined $100. April 28th, 53. Involved in a huge fight after Courtney spiked Phil Rizzuto, and Martin retaliated by hitting Courtney. April 30th, 1953. 6 players, 4 from the Yankees, including Martin, and 2 from the Browns, fined a total of $850 for being involved in a giant brawl. May 16th, 1957. Copacabana nightclub brawl.
Yeah.
August 4th, 1960, Martin, then with the Reds, was involved in a fight with Chicago pitcher Jim Brewer, and in the brawl election, that's the one where he got sued, and there was like criminal charges and all that shit. August 6th, 69, as a manager of the Twins, he disclosed he had knocked out Twins pitcher Dave Boswell in a fracas outside a restaurant. Remember, he knocked out the pitcher?
Yeah.
April 20th, 72, involved in a post-game fight with a fan outside Memorial Stadium in Baltimore. March 28, 73, Lakeland, Florida. Arrested with minor leaguer Ike Blessett at a restaurant bar and charged with uttering profanity in public.
Charged with swearing?
Yeah, that was the one where he was really drunk outside, and that was all they could really get him on. May 14th, 77, as manager of the Yankees, fined $2,500 for remarks directed at Steinbrenner. June 18th, 77, fighting Reggie Jackson in the dugout.
Right.
July 18th, 78, suspended Jackson for 5 days for disobeying instructions, was forced to resign as Yankees manager for comments made about Steinbrenner. November 11th, 78, he beat up the Roy Hagar, the sports writer in Reno.
Yeah.
October 23rd, 79, involved in a fight with the Marshmallow Man. So that's a lot. And that's only the ones the newspaper knew about at that time.
That is a lot of fighting.
We covered more fights than that because we knew about them. That's only the ones the newspaper knew about it. Those were publicly known fighting. That's
Everybody
insane.
knew.
That's wild. So go back to the book here, as he always did when he was fired, he called his mother in Berkeley. Mom, fired again.
Hey, Ma, unemployed.
She keeps probably like a soup going for him. It's Billy's fired soup. Whenever he's fired, I start pouring out bowls. It's just I keep it ready, though. She suggested he fly to California to see his family. It had been a long time since he'd been in the old neighborhood. Billy went home and visited with his old chums, and he saw his granddaughter, Evie, Kellyanne's child. He was despondent, his sisters and cousins recall. His longtime friend, Lou Figoni, took him hunting in Northern California. He hung out with some of his old Oakland Oaks buddies. In an interview many years later, each described Billy as being in a similar state of mind. Billy had a lingering resentment toward Steinbrenner. To Billy's way of thinking, he had followed all the owner's directives in '79. He got along with Reggie Jackson. He managed the team through an arduous, heartbreaking season without an off-the-field incident or major disagreement with the bosses. He said there had been no dust-ups with the press, no problems whatsoever. He'd been professional in every way. Hadn't Steinbrenner promised he'd be back in 1980? Hadn't he said that would happen no matter what?
No matter what.
No matter what. Sure, he had slugged a loudmouth in a bar far away from the team in the offseason. To Billy's way of thinking, it was a random, unrelated act. These things they're not in the same basket together. They're separate.
Apples and oranges.
Yeah, what are we talking about? Joe Cooper deserved it for being rude. Was that a firing offense? Not to Billy, it wasn't. His cousin Nick DeGennaro said, I think the worst thing was that he thought maybe this was the end of his time as a Yankee. He didn't know if he'd ever be back. So by January, the Mets look like they're going to hire Billy Martin.
Great.
Yeah, so he's like, great, yeah, New York, they love me, why not? And Martin had once said of Steinbrenner, if he fires me, I'll come back and beat him with another team. So that's it. Martin said about Steinbrenner, I want to make him cry. That's fucking amazing.
I do enjoy watching an athlete cry, or anybody in sports. We're just watching them cry. It feels so good. When they lose, I love that.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, they have to watch the other team celebrate.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like,
it feels so nice.
Yeah, that's fucking hilarious. So he had said one point, he said, but the Mets are a bad team. They're a couple years away, somebody said. And Martin said, no, they're not. They have some good players. They could be contenders next season. Basically, if I was their manager.
Right.
Type of deal.
all you're missing is me.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So they said, could you work with Joe Torre? Because I think he was the GM at the time, maybe.
Yeah.
Because I know he was their manager for a while. And he said, why not? Joe and I are good friends. I respect him and trust him. I think we'd work very well together. Okay, January 27th, 1980. Billy says he's not interested in managing ever again.
No?
Yeah, okay,
I've
sure,
had
Billy.
enough.
Sure, Billy. He said all he wants to do is play golf. He said, you get a reputation, a public image, and the thing just seems to grow no matter how inaccurate it may be. He said, sure, I've had my troubles, but they always seem to get blown out of proportion, and I've learned to live with it. I've tried everything, even turning my back and walking away from situations. When has he done that?
When? Yeah.
Well, yeah, but it doesn't seem to do any good. People will come up to me in an airport lobby, kind of lean back and hold their hands up to ward me off and say, I just wanted to meet you, not cause any trouble. Heck, I'm not going around looking for people to hit, but once you get that image, you have to live with it. I've accepted it now. Wow.
Okay.
He also says that he is becoming disenchanted with baseball. He said, I've got my own store and franchising arrangements and keep expanding. I'm looking forward to playing a lot of golf this year, something I haven't had time to do. Hey, make that golf for the next 2 years. He said, I'm not mad at anybody. He said, I'm disappointed in the way I think baseball has treated me, but I don't hold any grudges. If this is the way God intended my life to be, that's the way it is. He said, I think anyone would have to agree that I proved my ability as a major league manager. I can't look at any of the clubs I led and said that was my most satisfying job. I took over a Yankee club that hadn't been a winner and took them to a pennant without engaging in a lot of big money player deals. I took a young club in Detroit, one with old players at Minnesota, and made them both winners. I took a Texas club that lost more than 100 games the season before and made it a winner. Those are all satisfying accomplishments. Some people tell me winning isn't everything, but I say to that, I'm going to use it in my book, then why do we bother to keep score?
Yeah.
If the name of the game is let's win, isn't to win, let's just call it 9-9 before we start, shake hands, and everybody goes home.
We'll go home,
Yeah, let's all jerk each other off and go back and have a nice dinner. He said, I'm not interested in managing again. Not right now. When you've been a part of baseball, when it's your life for so many years, he said, of course, you just can't forget it. I'm disappointed in the way the game has treated me lately, and I'm not anxious to jump back in. Golf looks good to me right now.
Okay, he's going to go golfing.
So within 2 weeks, Billy's hired as the manager of the Oakland A's.
Hell yeah.
Not interested. 2 years of golf in front of him. Fucking hilarious. So no one understands why, because he's getting paid for the next 2 years because he has a contract with the Yankees. So
yeah.
Why are you doing this? You could make $250,000 a year over the next 2 years without doing out of the house.
Yeah.
Just golfing. So yeah, that's odd. So it was Charles Finley, the crazy bastard in Oakland, that hired him.
Oh, okay.
That's a very good, a very good, kind of a good home for Billy, because Billy's a spectacle and Finley loves a spectacle.
Sure does.
I mean, he's the guy who paid people to grow mustaches just so it would look different. He loves that shit.
Just to fuck with people.
Billy said, I don't want to just sit around. I want to get back in. If I sit around, all I'll do is drink. I haven't had a drink in 2 days.
2 days.
2 days.
Okay.
I doubt that.
I'm busy.
I've been busy. Billy also said, I have to look, wait, show patience, and then do my thing. My job is to mold people and make them play better, and I expect loyalty. He said, when they need a spanking, they get a spanking. Yeah, that's right. Said if a guy doesn't hustle, he comes out, just like I did with Reggie Jackson in the New York Yankees. You embarrass me, I'll embarrass you. Mental mistakes make me mad. Physical mistakes I can take, which is most managers are like that. Everybody boots one once in a while. Easy ground ball off the heel of your glove.
Sure, yeah.
But miss the cutoff man or throw to the wrong base, and he'll want to murder you, because that's fixable. Yeah. Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit more about AG1. That is drinkag1.com. Because let's face it, holiday season coming up here, crowded airports, you travel, you're going to be around lots of people. With AG1, you can do it. You can stay one scoop ahead of the holiday madness. You're going to need antioxidants, probiotics, and functional mushrooms that support immune resilience. Also, with this season, darkness and shorter days throw off your whole rhythm. Your body's not used to that. Superfoods and B vitamins support energy without the crash. That's what you want. You're going to have holiday meals. You're going to get lost in pies and cakes and all that kind of thing. You need a full spectrum of micronutrients from whole foods to help fill nutrition gaps. You know you have gaps out there, everybody. End of the year can bring stress. You know that. It always happens, and you need prebiotics, probiotics, and enzymes that help support regularity and gut resilience. You need AG1 is what you need. You need to mix this into your diet. This is going to be the thing that's gonna fill those gaps. Just like I said, you think a daily vitamin's gonna fill it. It's not. It's not gonna do it. You need to fill it in. You need the good stuff. You need to do this for yourself and for your wellness and just to support the body's natural defenses. You should do it right now. Head to drinkag1.com/crimeinsports to get a free welcome kit with an AG1 flavor sampler and a bottle of vitamin D3 plus K2 when you first subscribe. That's drinkag1.com/crimeinsports. Finley, who had hired the preceding year's manager, Jim Marshall, called Billy as soon had a new manager. Billy's annual salary on a 2-year contract was $125,000, and Steinbrenner also gave Billy a lump sum of $150,000 to terminate his contract.
Wow.
Yeah. So Billy's coaches were Art Fowler, Cleet Boyer, the former Yankees third baseman Lee Walls, his old teammate and drinking buddy in Cincinnati, George Mitterwald, who played for Billy in Denver and Minnesota and coached for him in Texas. Now, Billy said, I could have probably waited for a better job to open up with a good club that got off to a bad start. One of those jobs would open in May or June this year, but if I sat around, it would have been awful. I already had a tough year last year, and I couldn't wait. Mm-hmm. That's it. So his sister Pat said that was the most relaxed and happy I saw him since he turned 45 when he came back to manage the A's. He knew what he could do. This was kind of a project. And that's the thing. There isn't a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
You're not expected to win the World Series right now with the A's.
Sure, yeah.
Whereas with the Yankees, every fucking year, you're expected to win the World Series.
You gotta win, yeah.
And if you don't, George is sitting there going, how come you didn't win the World Series? You could go to Game 7 and lose, and he'd go,
Yeah.
I don't understand this. How? Why didn't you win that? Like,
What's the problem?
what's the fucking? Did I not put players on the field? What's the fucking problem? Whereas this guy, Finley's looking to make a profit and have a respectable team, and that's pretty much it at that point. So, anyway, and also back in Oakland, he's going home, as we know is a bad idea for crime and sports people.
Yeah, that's not good at all.
Might be good there. One of his former friends from the old kind of park ball days, the Sandlot days, said some people around here said, poor Billy, it's nice to see that he's come back, but he's stuck with a dog of a team. And I said to those people, just wait, you'll see. So the 1980 A's finished second in the AL West. Not bad. 83-79.
Look at this.
Which is not bad. But Charles Finley sells the club in August 23rd, 1980.
Okay, but they're keeping him there.
For now, yes, because the new owners just want to keep things in place. But
Yeah.
the new ownership group is the ownership group they have now, which is not a good ownership group. These people are terrible.
Group. Yeah.
Cheap.
Yeah.
If you can't afford a team, fucking sell a team
Don't
to someone
do
who can
it.
afford
Just-
it. Sell it.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. It's just disgusting. And Charles Finley, one thing he had, I'll say for Charles Finley, is he, and I've heard him say this, he always thought of a team as kind of a public trust. It doesn't really belong to you. It belongs to you, but it doesn't really belong to you. It's kind of a public thing. It's like if you had
the Packers.
It's like if you own Central Park. Like you own Central Park, it's whatever, but it's really not, you don't really own it. Everybody goes in it and lives there, and not lives there, but does their thing. And, you kind of have to, it's a public thing that you're just keeping nice for everybody for the whole team. And maybe you'll make a profit on it.
You're just the janitor around here.
And maybe you'll make a profit off the zoo in there once in a while. You know what I mean? That's kind of how it works. Whereas this group is more of a money first group. They're looking to, it's a business
Make
to them.
a bottom line.
It's a business, Charlie Finley he's a crazy guy. He bought an ABA basketball team. He owned this. He'll just buy weird shit. He's that like quintessential old timey, eccentric weirdo baseball owner.
All right.
There's a story from the ABA about a guy wanting more money from Charles Finley.
Oh.
And he went into the office to talk to Charles Finley and, negotiate without agents. It's like 1972. And, just get a deal from Charles Finley. Yeah. He said he gets in there and he said, Charles invited him for lunch. He said, so I thought we were going out to like a sit down or he was like bringing in a nice meal. Yeah. He said, I get there and he's got a hot plate set up in his office. And he's
going to make him lunch.
He pulls out his desk drawer and pulls out a can of soup.
Yeah.
And opens it and starts heating it on the hot plate.
Welcome
and he goes,
to lunch.
He said, I thought, oh man, this guy's in worse shape than I am. He can't afford to give me any more money. That's the type of guy Charles Finley was. He's a kind of a weird guy.
Jesus.
So, these A's, by the way, are the let's go through their roster a bit. We got Tony Armas, the Red Sox later on. Mike Heath, Ricky Henderson here. Now you got a 21-year-old Ricky Henderson, which is awesome. I mean, just a fucking a freak of nature physically, and just a great player and Hall of Famer, all-time runs. Runs, stolen bases. He's got a shitload of records. He's insane.
And for the A's, that's where he did it all.
That's where he started, and that's where he went back
this is
to.
His place,
And Ricky is. No one will ever break his records, put it that way. You're not breaking his record because he played till he was 46 or something too. So you're not breaking his shit. Yeah. He was still stealing bases when he was in his 40s. So that's crazy. Looking at this, otherwise, not a lot of guys people would really have. Rob Piccolo, not a lot of guys, kind of casual fans would have heard of here. Yeah. So anyway, from the book, from the first day of spring training, Billy put in a premeditated plan that was a little of his work in Denver, Minnesota, and the South Bronx. There was also new strategies tailored to the 1980s, things that also suited the type of skills on the A's roster, which is what you need to do.
Sure.
Billy was beginning his 13th season around Major League Baseball. He was ready to utilize everything he'd learned from his many varied expertises. Mostly he was going to teach the fledgling A's the value of rattling an opponent so that opposing infielders, pitchers, and catchers were unsettled and unsure what the A's might try next. And this is a great thing to do with If you don't have a ton of talent, you put pressure on the other team. You take an extra base. You make them throw you out. You try to rattle them because you don't have a ton of talent. That's what. If you have a ton of talent, you don't waste outs.
You don't
type of thing.
This, right.
Yeah. You just sit back and wait for people to hit the ball. He said that he wanted to show them the possibilities and how they led to runs. Just as Moneyball rediscovered 2 days later, or 2 decades later, albeit in a different way, it was all about producing runs any way you could. It came to be called Billy Ball, and it may have been his best work as a manager given the lack of resources available to him and how little the community cared about the team initially. And you got an owner that's selling the team. He's not dumping a bunch of money into this team. No. The higher the payroll, the less attractive they are to a buyer. So
the more overhead, you got to generate money. And if I'm coming into this, I want one that has no overhead and all profit.
That's how it goes. That's what everyone's looking for. So anyway, they said as it began with all of Billy's teams in spring training, the first drills were about sliding with everyone in rubber pants to not keep getting raspberries if you're doing sliding drills. Yeah. The next rubber pants. Yeah, and you can just piss yourself too, which is nice. You don't have to take a break from the day. It's good. The first drills were about sliding with everyone in rubber pants. The next drills were about how to take a lead off first base, then second base, then third, especially third base. Billy told the A's they were going to steal home at least 7 or 8 times in 1980.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they laughed. The 28 major league teams combined probably didn't steal home 8 times in 1979. Yeah. Ricky Henderson said, "You're crazy, Billy." Billy said, "Rick, you'll steal home at least 4 times, and you're going to break Ty Cobb's American League record for stolen bases in a season."
Oh.
Yeah. So Henderson, a peculiar, inscrutable man whose crude language skills hid an astute knowledge of baseball, knew the record. Yeah, he seems dumb, but then he's real smart about some shit. Yeah. Ricky is a fascinating man. Was a fascinating man.
We really blew it by not having him do
my God,
commentating and all
he
that.
Should have
Granted,
been everywhere.
His speaking wasn't his talent.
No, but that's what made him
that's
Ricky.
What makes him fun. Yeah.
That's what made him who he was his speaking. Yeah. That's what was so fun about him. So Ricky said, "That's 96 spaces, Skip." Mm-hmm. And Billy said, "We don't stop till you've got at least 100. In other words, you are fucking green light all year. Steal. Then Billy explained how to execute a double steal and a triple steal. Yeah.
Really?
Trust me, Billy said, it confuses and demoralizes the other team if you pull that off. Yeah. The tutoring was nonstop at the A's spring training complex in Scottsdale, which was the old Phoenix Muni Park there. Yeah. I like that. Muni. Phoenix Muni. Yeah, it was. Phoenix Municipal Stadium. Muni.
It's still there.
By the zoo. They don't play there anymore, though. I've been to spring training games there. It's a great kind of a dumpy place in the middle of just where it is, too. It feels like you're in the middle of nowhere, but you're not. You're just by the zoo.
And it's between the two, the Botanical Gardens and the zoo.
Yeah, it just kind of sits right in the middle there. I like that park, though. It was a cool park. So anyway, this is what he's doing. The pitchers were retaught how to throw an inside brushback pitch, how to safely throw at a batter's head on a suicide squeeze bunt attempt, and how to cover first base on a ground ball. He went fundamentals with these guys.
Yeah.
He said, "I don't care how else you already learned it. You're going to do it the right way now." So they learned bunt coverage, how to pull off the hidden ball trick, and were instructed to let throws from the outfield bounce in the infield dirt when there wasn't a play on a base runner. He said, "Why let the ball bounce?" the players said. And Billy said it might scar and dent the baseball, and Art Fowler was teaching his pitchers how to throw scuff balls that broke down in the strike zone. So he said, let it get scuffed. Let it hit the dirt so it's possibly got a scuff, and give that to the pitcher so then he's got a little something to work with.
Sure.
This is like just super inside baseball shit here of experience, and it's very interesting here. So that's what they were doing. The pitcher vigorously rubbed the inside of his pant leg, the right leg for a right-hander, left leg for a left-hander, with a bar of soap before the game. As the pitcher warmed up and began to sweat, a slimy but largely unnoticeable goo began to ooze through the pant leg, which the pitcher could easily access on the mound for a spitball.
Oh.
Soap, and isn't that interesting?
In your pants.
On your pant leg, yeah. So that way it's just on your pant leg. If an umpire suspected something, he would check a pitcher's glove, cap, jersey, and sleeves for illegal substances, but he would not pat down the pitcher's legs, especially the inside of his thigh.
Right.
Hey, calm down here. Yeah, that's going to look crazy. So that these pitchers could learn all these tricks out of the media's view, Billy had a mound and a plate set up near his trailer behind the fence that obscured what was going on.
What?
When reporters asked him about it, Billy said it was a conditioning area. That's a conditioning area.
That's right.
That is hilarious. He also says, no more drinking problem. I'm all set.
No, I fixed it.
It's all fixed. April
All
13th, 1980, season just started. He said, I gave up beer for a month.
Oh.
And the reporter said, why? And he said, lots of reasons. I've been given a lot of responsibilities here with this ball club, and I thought it would be good for my health, too. I've been losing weight. If I don't drink, I might pick up some weight. I'm going to be a Perrier man.
Oh, okay.
They said, was drinking a problem for you? He said, no.
I don't have a problem. It's just it gets in the way.
Listen to Billy's explanation of why he doesn't have a drinking problem. Well, I'm going to give it in their own words on this because this kind of needs an in their own words because this is really crazy. Okay, in their own words, quote, "No, I don't drink in the mornings or the afternoons or any of that stuff. Everybody says it is, but that's a lot of garbage. I can stop drinking anytime I want. This winter, I stopped drinking for 3 days one time, then 4 days another time. Once, when I was playing, I stopped drinking for 6 months. It's not the drinking so much as the places where the drinking puts you at night. That's the problem."
Oh, the location. It's like real estate.
Yeah, it's just
location.
Yeah, it's not. It
depends on if you're alcoholic.
If you're booze adjacent, you'll get into trouble. Doesn't matter if you're taking it in or not. Just matters if it's in the room.
All right.
Oh God, that's why you go to a wine shop, brawls in the aisles all the time. There's people smashing each other with a Willamette Valley Pinot Noir just right over the head.
He threw the old trope too of I can quit anytime I want.
He said, I quit. Yeah. One time I quit drinking for 3 days. So then 4 days one time. So I mean, what does that tell you? What does that give for your theory, asshole?
How does that grab you?
Oh man. He says, Billy says, I'll tell you when you have to be careful. After 11 at night, which is we've said this whole entire show. Whenever we go, okay, June 18th, 1987, 3:30 a.m., we go, trouble.
It's not good.
Not good. You're out. That's bad. He said, after 11 at night, then all of a sudden the demons come out and the people who've been drinking all day. Then everyone becomes Muhammad Ali. And even when I'm just sitting at the bar, just drinking Perrier water and people watch, when are you at the bar drinking Perrier? Why would you go to the bar to drink Perrier?
Well, I thought he was going to be a Perrier man now, and that'll save everything. But he's still getting in trouble with Perrier.
He's going to the bar to drink Perrier.
That's the problem.
That's the problem. Yeah. He said, just people watching, which is what I do more than anything else. People watch. They want to try me because they've heard of my reputation. You're not Wyatt Earp. What are you talking about?
They want to try me.
Let's go, Doc Holliday. Come on outside. Holy shit. So Martin, by the way, by April 22nd that year, which is, 2 weeks into the season, he was already ejected 5 times from games. 5. But he did this on purpose. Yeah. Remember, he did this with Texas, too. This is to show everybody we're not letting anything go. We're going to argue everything.
We're going to address everything.
Yep. Yeah. And one of his players said it was good for us to see. He'll always fight for us. And if a team's going to get respect from the umpires, it has to start with respect for the manager. It's the other thing.
Right.
I'm going to protect you. Not going to let those umpires fuck with you. That's all really good. So, Billy is this looks like a great marriage here. May 7th, 1980.
Yeah.
So far, I mean, none of Billy's marriages, baseball or otherwise, are going to go well after a while.
Well, yeah.
Chuck Finley and Billy are getting along great May 7th, which, as we know, that won't matter come August because he sells the team. But Billy doesn't know that he's trying to sell the team.
Oh?
No, Charles Finley was looking for a time, which was a good time to sell the team. And he's got a low payroll. The team is doing well, making them look attractive, and they have a manager that looks like they have a future. So this is a good time to sell the team, basically.
And we've got some symbiotic shit happening.
Yep, they could be in last place next year.
Yeah.
So who knows? Finley says he manages the way I like to see a manager manage, aggressively, very aggressively. This team has stolen home 3 times already. Look at that. That was in May, so he's on pace. Yeah. This team has stolen home 3 times. In the 12 previous years the A's have been in Oakland, they stole home only 4 times the whole time. Billy has every one of our young ball players believing in himself 100%. Several of them have told me what a joy it is to be playing under the leadership of Billy Martin. Ball players, especially young ones, want to be led. Billy's a natural leader.
There it is.
And he doesn't give Billy any fucking interference at all. Finley does not think he knows more about baseball than anybody. That's one thing. He might want him to do some weird shit. Hey, Billy, tell him we'll give him $150 if they grow a mustache or some weird shit like that. But he's not going to say, play this guy in right field. Like, that's out of his thing. Finley said, whenever we have something to discuss, we've had no disagreements. He's most cooperative and understanding with me. And Charlie Finley has been accused of interfering in previous administrations of managers. He said, if I interfere, it must pay dividends because no other club has won 5 consecutive divisional championships and no other club has won 3 consecutive world championships since I've been in baseball. But why do I have to blow my own horn? It's all right there in the record books. I don't think I interfere at all. But if I do, it's my prerogative, and anything that's my prerogative is not interference. I think they're winning, and Finley's just going, let him do what he wants to do. I don't really care. He said, you'll never find a manager who will work any harder for you than Billy Martin. Okay, July 1980. The A's are playing in Anaheim. He spots a young lady.
Here we go.
He's just married, a 19-year-old. He spots one named Jill Guyver, who is a 25-year-old freelance photographer working near the visitors' dugout. He picks the photographer. He's like, I'm going to fuck her. Said Jill was not hard to notice, pretty and shapely with long blonde hair. Jill had a sultry appeal along with what people called a nice figure because it was impolite to say that she easily filled out a tight blouse. She's got a good rack on her, this fucking
She's got
broad.
Giant boobs, yeah.
She's got huge cans is what we're talking about. Other ball players had noticed Jill, who was occasionally a stringer for the Associated Press. Billy got her to go on a date with him. Twice her age, by the way. Jill said, I agreed to go, but I knew I wasn't going to go alone because the thought made me nervous. Jill said, sitting at her summer horse farm in Massachusetts during one of multiple interviews in 2013. She's so hot, she ended up with multiple horse farms. That's hot. And she's a photographer, so not a lot of photographers, unless her name is Ansel Adams. I don't see a fucking horse farm popping up. Doing well here. She said, I called my girlfriend Jody and told her someone was coming. Told her she was coming with me. We met Billy at the Stocks restaurant by Disneyland. We waited and waited and waited, and he didn't show up at first. So we were like, oh, this is great, and we headed for the door. And that's when Billy walked in with George Mitterwald, who was a coach for him in those days. So off we went back to the bar. That's understanding. They actually agreed to stay.
Yeah.
And we just hit it off immediately. He's a charmer. Right from the start, we had the best time together. After that, whenever we could, we were pretty much inseparable. Although, obviously, he was in Oakland, I was in Southern California, so it took some maneuvering. She said, I now know a lot more about what was going on, of course, but at that time, all I knew was that we had a good time. We laughed, he was romantic and sent flowers and presents. He was the best dancer I ever knew.
Is that right?
This is like 1980, so this is disco dancing. Billy is out there cutting a rug to the Bee Gees. Just imagine that with big fucking collar.
Awesome.
That is awesome. Shit-faced, fist cocked to punch somebody. That is great. And when he would twirl me across the dance floor, it was breathtaking. He made me feel like I was the most special person in the world. Okay, the book goes on to say, but Jill was not like any other woman who had ever taken a serious, years-long twirl in Billy's life. For starters, she came from a family well-versed in the ways of big-time sports, and she was acquainted with wealth. Her father, Russell Guyver, ran a mortgage company and was a real estate developer. Oh. Russell's brother, Harry Guyver, became a sports agent representing many NFL players. After a few years, he was named vice president of the Los Angeles Rams. That's how, God, agents have a hell of a job, man. Agents are all like the big producers and shit. They all used to be agents. It's amazing. Yeah. It's great. That's why you can't make them mad in this business.
Just piss them off all the time.
Can't do that. So through her father and uncle, Jill grew accustomed to attending every major sports event in Southern California. She recalled, for example, briefly meeting Billy at the 1977 World Series through Frank Sinatra, who was acquainted with her family.
There you go.
She comes from a high-rolling background. She said, I was very familiar with that stuff. They say Jill was athletic, competing in the horse show circuit from a young age. The breeding and training of horses has remained a lifelong vocation and avocation. After graduating from high school, Jill attended some community college, but was soon drawn to photography. And she's rich, so that seems fun to take pictures.
Kind of nice, yeah.
In the late 1970s, she got a part-time job as a photographer, landing a gig as a stringer for the Los Angeles Times and other news outlets. She also completed her training and apprenticeship to be a flight attendant for Golden West Airlines. No idea.
Doesn't exist.
No. In July 1980, a friend of a friend asked her to work the game in Anaheim, where she met Billy. Soon, she was hopscotching the continent to be with Billy, although exclusively on the road. She knew that Billy was in another relationship in Oakland. She says she didn't know how serious that other relationship was. He told me there was this young girl and she had this family from the Bronx and that he was helping them out. So there was this girl he was seeing and that it was going to end. It's not a great excuse, but that's what he told me. Yeah. For the rest of 80 and into 81, Billy saw Jill at A's away games and during well-timed off-season visits to Southern California. Billy saw Heather when he was home with the A's. Billy's double life was well known in the A's community. Eddie Sapir said he had two steady girlfriends, basically. He helped support them in two homes, Heather in Blackhawk, Jill in Newport Beach in Southern California.
Two homes.
Two homes. That's crazy.
Well, in SoCal. He's doing well.
That wasn't expensive back then, though, either. That was people moved to L.A. because it was cheap back in the day.
Well,
yeah, this is before the 80s.
This is later, right?
No, this is 1980 they're talking about.
Yeah, that's what I mean. This is a pretty decent time for money there.
Not really. No, still cheap there. Still cheap there. Yeah. Still cheap till like the mid to late 80s. Then it got real pricey. And then in the 90s, it exploded, obviously. And that was a mess. But no, the late 70s, all through the 70s, people used to move to California because it was cheap.
Fascinating.
Yeah. It was cheap and it was, sunny. So why not?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Kind of like why people were moving to Florida 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Now Florida is expensive and disgusting, so there's no reason to go there.
It still sucks. San Diego's
what I mean.
Still amazing. Yeah.
It is. So Billy did have to jump through elaborate hoops to maintain his dual lives. In the off-season, he sometimes told Heather he was flying to two cities, say Denver and Kansas City, for speaking appearances, when he was actually spending the week in California with Jill.
Oh, Billy.
Returning,
this is gonna explode.
Returning to the Oakland airport after his trip south, he would tip Skycaps $20 or $30 so they would give him Denver and Kansas City baggage tags.
Oh.
Amazing, Billy. Holy shit.
Wow.
Which he would place on his luggage after he removed the airline tags from Southern California. Then he would head back to the Blackhawk house. Once in a while, someone might tell Heather they saw Billy with another woman, a sexy blonde. If Heather asked Billy about it, he would say that the woman was friends with Eddie Sapir or dating bachelor Mickey Morabito, since one or the other usually traveled with Billy. She was with one of those guys. The whole thing was kind of dangerous and crazy, Sapir said. And I told him that at some point, but you could only advise Billy so much on his personal life. You couldn't tell him what to do.
No.
Not about pussy. No.
No.
A man's
Billy
dick is his
control. Yeah.
A man's dick is his own domain at that point. You know what I mean?
Billy will handle it.
Oh yeah, that's Billy land. You leave him alone. He lived day to day, and in his mind, he wasn't doing anything wrong. Both his girlfriends were happy, so was he. So Eddie Sapir said, yeah. Jill, who gave rare, brief interviews in 1990 and then did not speak to any reporter, biographer in baseball or outside about Billy for the next 23 years, agreed to speak at length for this book. Asked if she was indeed happy in 80-81, even though she knew Billy had another girlfriend, she nodded her head in agreement. She said, granted, I didn't know the whole story, especially what was to come, foreshadowing. I'm not proud of that time, but he was who I was in love with. So if he said he was going to make good, that's all that mattered to me, and he did make it good. We had a great thing. I can't explain it to other people. I can't condone everything he did, but in my particular circumstances, it worked out to be the correct thing. Billy's family did not like other women, or either woman. That's what they're going. That's not her. That's the book talking.
Yeah.
They didn't like either woman. Heather rarely, if ever, set foot in the old West Berkeley neighborhood. Jill was not welcome there. Okay. The writers covering the A's saw more of Jill than Heather and often blamed her for his disposition day to day. One of the beat writers for the A's said he fought with her. he'd come into the ballpark and on the road, and he'd be in a bad mood, and all the guys would go, "Oh, Jill's here."
That's the one.
Another writer said, you'd see Jill in the hotel bars with him and in public, and Heather was sort of this mysterious figure. So the book goes on to say, Heather Ervolino, whom others in Billy's circle described as someone who always tried to avoid the spotlight, has virtually never talked to reporters about her life with Billy. She refuses to assist or engage with previous Billy biographers and has spurned interview requests since she and Billy separated in the mid-'80s. Heather was cooperative at various times during the research of this book and helped verify facts in the chronology of her time with Billy, important assistance since many of the other details of the relationship were shrouded by misinformation, but that's all. Remarried for several years now with children she raised in the East Bay, Heather said she did not want to revisit these details of the soap opera, which makes sense, obviously. She said she did say he had a great heart. People always associate Billy with his temper, but he had a great heart as well. She said Billy was very loyal to his true friends, and he would do anything for them, and baseball was his greatest love and passion. On the other hand, of the other many convoluted or irregular details of her life with Billy, Heather, who stayed in touch with many of Billy's friends, called them something from a long, long time ago. Billy Joe called Heather a pleaser. The son called her a pleaser. Mm-hmm. She wanted to make people happy, he said, especially in my father's sphere. If she found out what kind of food you liked, she would have it in the kitchen next time you came to the Blackhawk house. She was very mothering. But she was also shy by nature. My father had lots of dinners and things to go to, and Heather did not want to go to those. It didn't fit her personality. And the whole deal with Heather and Jill, well, that was just crazy. I don't know what to say. My father was a, quote, connoisseur of women. A connoisseur of women. Wow, that's, yes, wow. He dips his dick in anything he can. It's a connoisseur.
Yeah. Good for him.
My Christ. By the way, Billy's mother's nuts here. I like Billy's mother. She's got spunk. She tells a story about him being in school, which is very funny here. He says that she's 4'11", maybe 95 pounds. One day, my 6th grade teacher, Mr. Cuddyback, hit me with a ruler and Mom saw the welts. The next day, she showed up at school, and when she got to Mr. Cuddyback's office, she charged at him with both fists, and it took 3 other teachers to restrain her. Cuddyback was about 6'4", but she was itching to go at it with him. She screamed, if you ever lay your hands on my son again, I'll come up here and break every bone in your body. She married
That's
three.
That's a good mom to have.
That's a good mom. She's been married 3 times. Her mother ran a boarding house, and when she was 17, my grandmother Nona arranged for her to marry one of her boarders by the name of Pisano. That's his dad. And he goes on to talk about that. My mom went into closets, pulled out all my dad's clothes, stepped all over them to get them dirty, threw them in a suitcase, and threw them out the door. By the way, this was because one of Mom's friends told her that she had seen one of the students at the high school wearing. This is ridiculous. Okay, let's get this. One of the first gifts my mom gave him was a beautiful, expensive wristwatch. One day he came home without it, and when she asked him what happened to it, he told her he didn't know. A few days later, one of my mom's friends said that she had seen one of the students at the high school wearing it. A girl was about 15 years old, the woman said.
He gave her
a sophomore. Right. So that's when she took all the clothes out, threw them on the floor, stepped on them to get them dirty, threw them in the suitcase out the front door. Dad came home and wanted to know what the matter was. Mom said, you're not chipping on me, you bastard. Go out now and you stay out. Yeah. So there you go. Wow, that's fucking hilarious. And then he talks about finding out his real name was Alfred as well, which is hilarious.
Late in life?
Yeah, late in life. No, in junior high. This is a great headline. Sunday, August 10th, 1980. Martin Fist's best friend while living in Berkeley.
Why'd you do that?
I don't understand that. That is hilarious here. This is just an old story Billy told about
a friend.
Yeah, fucking around and whatever. So back to the book. In bars, he was a marked man. Every guy with a few beers in his belly who thought he was a pretty good barroom brawler wanted to test himself against the most famous saloon slugger in America. Even outside of bars, everywhere he went, people seemed to make a remark about his temper, an inclination to start duking it out. Billy said, when I checked into our hotel the other day, a guy held up his hands and said, "Don't hit me now." I get that all the time, like I'm going around slugging people. But some guys are hoping I will. One night in New Jersey, 4 different guys in 4 different bars tried to goad me. Well, you know how you can avoid that? Don't go to 4 bars in one night, you fucking dummy.
4 different, yeah. After the second one, you'd be like, I'm
going
going to go
now.
try another one?
And then
No,
4.
I'm not trying.
And then one more for
trying
good
any
measure.
others.
Yeah. I finally had to go home. Yeah, you went to 4 bars. I think that's a full evening anyway, Billy.
You've done it.
He said it must have been a full moon. Yeah, right. His son said, I lived it 1,000 times in 1,000 places. Even when we'd be sitting at a table eating dinner, some guy would almost always come over. It starts off sort of harmless. Most guys come up and say, "Hey, Mr. Martin, can I buy you a beer?" And my dad would say, "That's okay, Pard. I got one and we're eating, but thank you."
There it is.
But the guy wouldn't stop. "Come on, let me buy you a Miller Lite," because he did the commercials. And my dad would say, "That's okay, thanks. Why don't you go back to the bar while we eat?" And then the guy would say, "Why? Are you going to punch me now?" And that's exactly how shit. And that is not even being, you don't have to be majorly famous and you get that weird shit. The amount of times we have gotten weird shit from people like, "No, come on, let me buy it." And then you go, no, I'm good here. And they go, "Oh, wait, you're too fucking good." But it's like, what are you talking about? I'm just talking to you. I'm still in a conversation with you. I just don't want you to buy me anything.
What's the problem?
Yeah. For me, I don't drink a lot. So sometimes I'm not drinking. So I'm like, I don't want anything. I got a Coke. I'm good with it.
I'm good.
Come on, let me buy you a beer. Come on. What are you drinking?
I don't need shots.
No,
I'm all right.
Don't need shots.
God.
I don't need any of that.
Shots, I'm fine.
If I do drink, I don't drink a lot. So when I do drink, it's something good, and I'm not going to make you buy that for me. So
right. I don't want you buying expensive
shit. Tell you, get me a Grey Goose martini. I'm not going to tell you that. Yeah. I'll buy myself one if I want one, but I probably don't. I'm good with this $2 soda. It's fine. So, and then it would escalate, the son said. And the guy would say, "Did you get fired today? Or why don't you take a swing at me? Come on, you don't look so tough." Now, Billy's appearance was definitely part of the problem. 5'9" and about 160 pounds. So
everybody wants to fight the small guy.
Yeah. Billy Joe said, "I watched hundreds of big bruising guys come up to my dad in the bar and saying they were going to kick his little ass. Big, scary guys. And my dad wouldn't back down. But he did try to talk them out of fighting. It just didn't always work out. Frankly, that's why he hung around with some big guys like Lee Walls, who coached him for several years. It was Lee's job to get those guys away from Dad." Billy Joe said, "When I was in my 20s, it was sometimes my job, but I'm telling you, it never stopped. If there was no one there to defuse it, and if some guy kept at it, sometimes my father would just deck him." He didn't start fights, but he was very good at ending them. People just never heard about those fights. Billy's friend Lou Fagone, who was fearsome, brawny guy as a younger man, recalled a day in 1980 when he was meeting Billy at a bar in Northern California. From there, Billy and Fagone were to drive to Fagone's hunting club. He said, "Billy used to wear this cowboy hat with a feather in it. And in this bar, before I got there were 3 guys. At the other end of the bar, they all recognized him and started making fun of his hat.
Uh-oh.
Billy apparently didn't say anything, and these other guys kept drinking and getting more bold. Pretty soon, they're challenging Billy to go outside and fight. That was the usual stuff. 'I'm no marshmallow salesman, Billy. Why don't you try beating me up?' Billy just kept smiling at them. When I walked in, he stood up and announced to the 3 guys, 'Okay, now we can go fight.' And he said to me, 'Let's go. These guys have been giving me shit for 30 minutes. Everyone got up to walk toward the parking lot. Fagone asked one of the other guys for his phone number. 'Why do you want that?' the guy said. 'Because I'm going to have to call your house,' Fagone said. 'Why?' the guy said. And Fagone said, 'Because you're going to be unconscious in the parking lot and someone's going to have to come pick you up.'
Somebody's got to tell you why.
Someone's going to have to come figure out where to send your carcass. The guys who had been hassling Billy decided to just go home, but Billy had to put up with these guys and their beer muscles all the time. That's what it was. So they go on to say Earl Weaver was no stranger to gin joints and had a few late-night tussles with unnamed patrons who made minor news. Those fisticuffs had no longevity in the public consciousness. Lasorda and Weaver are in the Baseball Hall of Fame. I always thought Billy got a bad rap for that bar fighting stuff, Weaver said a few months before he died in 2013. It's true that he didn't control or manage himself well in those situations, as maybe he should have. He would snap. Public figures aren't allowed to snap. It would have been nice if he could have found a way to avoid all that, but people didn't make it any easier on him either. When Weaver's comments were related to Lasorda, he had another opinion. He said maybe Billy was better at punching people than the rest of us. Maybe that's why everyone knew about it when it happened. He was laying guys out. Said, we get in a fight and it's a scrap and people pull us apart eventually. It's not a big deal. Every time he punches someone, they're fucking unconscious, whether it's a player, a marshmallow salesman. It's true.
Marshmallow salesman never going to stop being funny. That's the greatest thing that's ever happened.
Hilarious. Marshmallow salesman pummeling a marshmallow man. So Steve Vucinich, the A's clubhouse manager then and when this book was written as well, became Billy's driver and quasi-official team companion whenever Billy made public appearances, his handler basically, which he did frequently when promoting the A's in the East Bay community that year. Billy was great with crowds. People loved him, this Vucinich said. He was great with kids and his Donald Duck voice, which they loved. He'd do that for the kids. Women were drawn to him. He could charm anyone, and it was a lot of fun hanging around him, I'll tell you that. After a public appearance, we'd go off to some bar, and it didn't matter the neighborhood because he was good with ethnic or diverse gatherings, too. He was especially good with regular workers, tradesmen, dock workers, just all those kinds of guys. He was authentic, and they sensed that. But on some nights, as it got later, there would just be one guy who didn't like him. Billy would get up to go to the bathroom, and I'd hear some guy say, "That Billy Martin's an asshole," and I knew there could be trouble. I remember one night the guy sitting next to him just kept flicking his cigarette ashes on Billy's arm and hand. Billy kept asking him to stop, but the guy just stared at him and kept flicking the ashes on him.
Oh, boy.
We got up and left. Another night at the Oakland Hyatt bar, a nice place, a guy hauled off and sucker punched Billy without warning. Billy didn't hit him back. We left. But that's what could happen. Not every night, but it happened.
Yeah.
As Vucinich said, I think Billy knew what Billy Martin had become. Some of it he didn't like, but he liked being famous. He liked having the money and flying first class. We'd be driving across the Bay Bridge and people would recognize him and pull alongside the car to take pictures. He liked that. He had once been a nobody in the East Bay, and now they were snapping his picture on the Bay Bridge. He'd wind down the window and give them that big smile. He loves it. Yeah, hey, here I am. Yeah. So they said the Yankees and Reggie were having spectacular years, with the Yankees well on their way to claiming the AL East with a 103-win season. The A's would rally late to win 83 games and finish second to the high-flying Kansas City Royals, who won 97 games, and there's no wild cards back then. So Billy was named Manager of the Year again this year for a third time. He improved Oakland's record by 29 wins. That's a lot. That's a lot.
So fourth of the season.
They were terrible the year before.
Whatever.
Yeah, they were in their 60s. And Ricky stole 100 bases exactly.
Is that right?
And stole home 4 times, just like Billy said. So at that point, they think he can predict the future, the players. So at that point, you'll do anything for a guy if you think he knows more than you, which is amazing. By the way, there's an article that talks about in October 19th, 1980, about a short story about when Billy was in grade school, he punched out a truant officer, and Billy said he was asking for it, and his mother defended him for it. So
I think that happened? That had to happen.
I'm sure it happened. Yeah, that seems right. It seems like something Billy would do. Mm-hmm. And it seems like also something his mother would do would be defend him, because my mother would have defended me too, I'm sure. So the chief executive of the A's new ownership group, Roy Eisenhart, quickly gave Billy a new 5-year contract. Wow. It named Billy as manager and director of player development, which put him in charge of all baseball personnel decisions in the Oakland system. So now guys are going up and down based on him and stuff like that.
Boss.
Yeah. The A's would not have a general manager. So it's just Billy's running the team. Mm-hmm. They're dealing with the money. Billy's dealing with all the baseball stuff. Billy was running the entire baseball side of the franchise. The deal also gave Billy the use of a sprawling mansion in Tony Blackhawk, an exclusive master plan development east of Danville in Oakland. Billy quickly made plans to move Heather Ervolino and her family to the Blackhawk mansion. The publicity director, Morabito, said Billy was set. He had it all.
Yeah.
That fall, the Yankees were swept by the Royals in 3 close games during the AL Championship Series. Shortly thereafter, George fired Dick Howser. Gene Michael was named new manager, the guy who he had hired to be. So Morabito said, Billy and I were sitting in a bar in Oakland after Dick Howser got fired. And Billy said, do you believe what George did? And I said, of course I do. Let's just be happy we're here and not there. This is good. This is as good as it gets. And he kind of looked at me funny. And I said, what? You're not thinking of ever going back there, right? And he took a sip of his drink and slowly said, no way. Not right now, anyway.
No. I got shit to do.
I mean, maybe someday, but
Yeah.
that is hilarious. Oakland in 81, they are bad now. Or no, they're good. I'm sorry. Not bad. I saw 64 wins, and I'm like, they're terrible. But it was a strike-shortened season. So they're 64 and 45. That's good. They're first they're first in the AL West, which is fine. Doing great. They lose, though, or they win. They go to the playoffs that year, and they beat the Royals. They sweep the Royals 3-0 in the division series. And then in the ALCS, they get swept by the Yankees, which pissed him off.
Yeah.
That pissed him off good. He's like, son of a bitch.
Not happy to lose, to George.
No. Well, here's some crazy shit. That year in spring training in Arizona, Party Central was the Pink Pony Bar.
Where was that at?
I don't know. I'm assuming in Tempe, Scottsdale area,
right?
because it's got that's got to be that South Scottsdale around there somewhere. Has to be.
Pink Pony Bar?
Probably where all the strip clubs are now, maybe.
I would assume,
that
right?
fucking row in Scottsdale Road and all that shit.
I've never heard of it. It must be closed.
That's the other thing. This is 1980, so 81. Yeah. It was the social hub of the Cactus League, which back then was not much more than a handful of Western-based teams. The Pink Pony may as well have been Toots Shor's West. So this was where they were all hanging out anyway. Zagaris, the team photographer, had a background as a photographer for British rock stars. He was friends with The Who and the Rolling Stones. He thought he had seen it all on their tours of the world. Rock stars and all tend to have crazy times. Zagaris said, I'd been around a lot of crazy shit, but Billy, his coaches, and some of the players, they kept up to that level. I didn't see drugs. It was all alcohol-based, but some of these older guys were serious professional drinkers. Some mornings at the batting cage in spring training with the coaches standing there, it didn't smell like alcohol. It smelled like someone had dumped a quart of Jim Beam on home plate. The players didn't stay out late, but they'd come by to catch part of the fun. It probably wasn't good for anyone's health, but Billy forged a close-knit bunch of guys. That's what you got to do there. All right, so January 28th, 1981, the beginning of this year here, Maury Wills, who is a great all-time player, was a great base stealer back in the day. He's also Seattle's manager at this point, and he talks some shit about Billy.
Oh, what did he say?
Yeah, asked to describe the major difference between Billy and himself, he replied, I think we're different in that I don't go around punching people.
Oh,
sounds like a good way to get punched, doesn't it? Saying shit like that.
trying to get some shit going.
Yeah, that's fucking hilarious. So that's really funny. At the weekly meeting of the Puget Sound Sports Writers and Broadcasters Association, Willis also talked about the acquisition of shortstop Mario Guerrero from the A's. Guerrero played for Martin last season. Wills said Mario just had a little personality conflict with Billy Martin, but that can be understood. Mario likes marshmallows. So he's fucking with him about the marshmallow salesman.
Yeah, marshmallow salesman.
Jesus Christ, man. That's so ridiculous. They like to needle him, and then they wonder what happens.
Yeah, you fuck with the guy, and then he swings back, and then everybody's like, what the fuck?
What the hell, man? Billy's out of control.
What'd you do this for?
So they said with the likely interruption of the season coming in June, the strike-shortened 81 season, every team was trying to make sure it was in first place when the strike occurred, since it assured a postseason berth. Yeah, the A's are in better position than anyone. At home, they passed the 1 million mark in attendance for the first time in several years and did it so in early June. Billy was enjoying life, although he did twice wear a bulletproof vest, once at a game in Oakland and once in Chicago when a man called and threatened to shoot him. Oh, okay. Police told Billy to stay off the field. He did not listen, even going out for several minutes to argue with an umpire in Chicago. Yeah, if he's pissed off, he's not going to, I have to stay in the dugout. Rage is going to fill him, and he's coming out. And Billy, in general, was not getting along with the umpires any better than he had in the past. Here's an article, May 31st, 1981. Oakland A's manager, Billy Martin, may have picked the wrong man in umpire Terry Cooney. Okay, Cooney tossed Martin out of Friday night's game against the Toronto Blue Jays for arguing about balls and strikes. The Oakland manager then charged Cooney and slammed into him. Martin kicked dirt on Cooney's shoes, and when the umpire turned his back, the A's manager scooped up 2 handfuls of dirt and tossed them on his back. That's awesome.
That's different.
I enjoy that a lot. That's fun. Yeah. Martin was suspended Saturday morning for an indefinite period by Lee MacPhail, the president of the American League. Cooney said, this is the umpire, I played college football and worked 6 years in a state prison wrestling convicts and fighting them. So I don't think I've ever been hit harder than I was by. So I don't think I've ever been hit harder than I was by Billy Martin last night.
Wow.
It came at him hard. He said, everybody has a different boiling point, and I think I'm a very calm person myself. Had that been done on the street or in any other kind of situation, I know I wouldn't have turned my back on him. I would have flattened him right there. Mm-hmm. And, so that's how it goes. He said, I would have kicked his ass, but he said, I didn't know.
Billy hits harder than every convict that's ever
Apparently, he'll come into him. Yeah. He said, I didn't know why he threw the dirt. When I ejected him from the dugout, he ran out there and took me completely by surprise. I ejected him again. And umpire Bill Kunkel said to me, you must have ejected Billy Martin, the manager, the first time, and Billy Martin, the general manager, the second time. Mm-hmm. He's got 2 jobs there. Right. He said, Billy's bag was always kicking dirt on umpires. That's his trademark. But when I walked away from him, he hit me in the back with the dirt, and I thought that was a cheap shot and a gutless thing to do. How does he know that at any given moment I'd have turned around and gotten the full force of the dirt and lime in my face and probably injured my eyesight for life? Calm down, Cooney. Relax. So then they go into this thing about how violent the bump into the referee or into the umpire was. Violent. One guy, Richie Phillips, Association's executive director, said in an interview, this is from the Umpires Association, I've been advised by several objective onlookers that it was the most violent act they'd ever seen a manager perpetrate against an umpire. Interesting. Wow. Here's a June 1st, 1981. Oh, Cooney, by the way, said it felt like a freight train ran into me. I've never been run into that hard in my life, not even in college football.
Oh, really?
No. Okay.
College football doesn't hit as hard as Billy Martin in his
280-pound 20-year-olds don't hit as hard as a 160-pound 55-year-old alcoholic coming out of a dugout. Shut up, Cooney, you pussy. June 1st, 1981, here's a headline in the Atlanta Constitution. Home for Madman Martin should be at a zoo or a kennel. Uh-huh. That's what they go on to say. It's just an editorial about how Billy Martin's the worst thing for baseball and Cooney could have been injured and all this horse shit. Okay. June 2nd, 1981, Martin gets 7 days and the umps say they may file suit against him. So, yeah, he gets
for what?
It's a bump in the I don't know, for some sort of I don't even know, injunction, so he can't I don't know what the fuck you're exactly doing, but he gets a $1,000 fine and a 7-day suspension, which is a lot. So, they said from the book, now 53 years old and well into middle age, Billy was not mellowing when it came to the arbiters of the rules. It was a battle he never stopped fighting. Umpire Durwood Merrill called him probably the meanest, most unfair man of all on the field, which is hilarious. Martin then, August 30th, 81, he apologizes and said he was wrong. Yep, he said, I was clearly in the wrong, is what he said. Yep, said he's sorry.
This is a new Billy Martin.
It's all on TV. I blew it. Yeah, sorry about that. By the way, the 81 season was stupid. They did a split season plan. Division winners of each half will meet in the playoffs to determine champions. Second place teams could be involved if the same team wins both halves of the season. See how stupid this is?
Oh, boy. Yeah.
Very stupid. Billy Martin said, quote, I think it's stupid. Which I agree with Billy Martin. Pretty fucking stupid. That's ridiculous. So September 4th, 1981 is the final 4 days of his suspension. And they said that Martin's advising McPhail that he was dropping his request for a hearing on the suspension. And he said he's just going to eat the suspension and be fine. Before that, he was taking everything to the Bowie Coon, taking it right up to the commissioner of the game and all sorts of shit. Now, postseason, with the season split in 2 halves, the division leaders at the time of the strike in the AL East West were the A's to play the second half winners, the Royals, in a special division series. The A's won 3 straight games, like we said, went to face the Yankees in the league championship series. Oakland's Jim Spencer said, if Billy and all the ex-Yankees beat him, I think George would be especially humiliated. Yeah,
that would not be great.
So and that was a kind of a big deal, and the Yankees swept in 3 games, and that was that. The Yankees were heading to their 4th World Series in 6 seasons. This was all before I could remember, which is very sad. I didn't have any of that.
You didn't get any of it?
No, didn't see any of it. By the time I remember, they were terrible and remained that way until I was 18. So
I get it.
I don't know. So end of the postseasons here. Yeah, he's done, and he said, "I've got nothing else to say. That's what happened. They beat us." Talking about losing to the Yankees. In the 80s season, he had Ricky Henderson steal only on signs until Ricky learned how to read pitchers in their windup. Then Martin turned Henderson loose. Basically, he would give him the steal sign and the non-steal sign, the stay sign in 80. But in 81, he was confident that Ricky knew how to read the pitchers at that point and said, "You just steal when you feel like it.
Do it on your own."
Because I mean, why not? He's the greatest of all time. Let him do it. Fuck it. He is an arm killer, though. He's a Dusty Baker in this type of. Some of these managers are just pitcher killers. They eat pitchers up and spit them out. Yeah. Dusty Baker's a guy like that. He will almost kill you. You know what I mean?
Just make you throw over and over and over again?
Make you throw till you look at what he did to Rod. He destroyed Rod's arm. Rod loved him forever, but he destroyed his arm. He used him like a fucking. I don't even know. Too much. Yeah. At one point, I was watching a game on an old game on YouTube. I think it was the Giants and Braves from back then, and they brought Rod in. It was his 11th consecutive appearance. Nice. They put him in 11 straight games. You can't do that to people. No. He's doing the announcers are going, "I don't even know how he's doing this right now." They're like, "I don't know how he's even getting it over the plate. His arm has got to be dead. This is his 11th straight day pitching. This is crazy." It was a record too. Yeah. So I mean, it was a record. Nobody even did that. In 1885, they didn't do that to people because you couldn't do that. But Dusty Baker would. So Billy's the same way. So they say years later, there was some concern that the young arms on the staff were being ruined by overuse. At the time, it didn't come up. Yeah. McCaddy, who's now the pitching coach for the Washington Nationals, said that's because it really wasn't Billy's idea. It became a badge of honor among the 5 of us. One of the things Billy and Art had taught us was how to get batters out the 3rd time around the batting order. Your fastball velocity is down at that point. They've seen your other pitches. How do you get those batters out again? It took guile and guts, and once we learned to do it, we wanted to keep doing it. We hung our pride on that as a group. Billy tried to get us out of games. We just didn't want to come out, and Billy was loyal. He was the kind of guy who stuck with you. He liked to see that metal in you. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. Billy, by the way, November 12th, 1981, Manager of the Year again.
They did it again.
Oh, dude, it's so much crazy acrimony. So now he's won it in the last, since 74, it's his 4th Manager of the Year.
Yeah.
There's been 4, since 74, he's won it 4 times. Earl Weaver won it twice, and then 2 other guys won it. That's it.
Fascinating.
So he's got some problems, though. From the book here. While he had multiple endorsements, he also squandered the chance at a potential big one. The national department store chain Sears wanted to introduce a line of Billy Martin casual wear. Awesome. I got my Sears Billy Martin shirt on. Oh, that's awesome. It would be a lucrative deal. The top executives at Sears wanted to meet Billy beforehand, and they invited him to their headquarters, sending a private jet to whisk Billy and Sapir to Chicago for an evening dinner and get acquainted session. The Sears folks perhaps should not have stocked the jet with scotch.
Yeah.
Billy showed up drunk. The Sears officials canceled the deal.
They canceled the deal because he got hammered.
You can't show up at your job interviewed shit-faced.
I guess that's a good point.
That's not good. That doesn't show you're taking this very seriously. Yeah. That's probably was the test. Let's send a jet filled with scotch and see if he drinks it. But there was much more money rolling in from other sources, most of it from a long procession of public appearances and autograph signing opportunities. The checks did not go through the proper channels, as we talked about before. Right. The IRS was already on to him. Billy never claimed he did not get the checks. He was not charged with fraud, just forgetfulness, a fault that cost him dearly, plus interest, as we'll find out.
It will, yeah.
In late 1981, the IRS informed Billy that he owed the federal government about $200,000 in back taxes. That's a
$200,000, Billy.
Billy, and he makes $150,000 a year, so that's not good.
Oh my God.
Billy, who never grasped the concept of saving money, estimated that he had about $85,000 in his bank account.
Holy.
Not good. He was still supporting his two principal households, the Ervelinos in Blackhawk and Jill Guyver in Southern California.
Yeah.
He was also giving his mother a monthly stipend. He paid for other expenses in his extended family and network of friends as well. So,
shit.
Moreover, Billy's bank account dwindled significantly just about every time he walked out the door. His son said he thought nothing of tipping 100% on a bill. He'd give money to people on the street. He'd go to buy a cone at an ice cream stand, and then on the spur of the moment decide to buy ice cream for everyone in line, like maybe 20 people.
Oh God!
I was still just a teenager, but even I thought, does he have to support the whole state of California? Like,
yeah, he's paying for everybody.
What the fuck are you doing here? Yeah. So, by the way, January 23rd, 1982 is when Reggie Jackson agrees to sign a contract with the Angels and leave the Yankees there. Yeah. So La Russa's pissed off at him. Tony La Russa's pissed off. So you got a couple of guineas in another fucking fight here. Yeah. February 26, 1982, from the Associated Press here, a feud had been simmering between Oakland A's manager Billy Martin and his White Sox counterpart, Tony La Russa, boiled to the surface Thursday when the latter lashed out at the former in a spring training talk to his players. Upset that Martin, quote, didn't even mention the White Sox, in a story in which the A's manager had predicted a pennant for his own team, La Russa said, quote, Billy Martin popped off last year too. He said we wouldn't win another game against them all year, and when we played against them, we stuffed them. Every time he says something like that, he's wrong. I'm glad he didn't pick us to win it, or we'd be in trouble. La Russa will be the A's manager for a long time after this, which is pretty funny. March 22nd, 82, Billy and George Steinbrenner are friends again now.
Oh, is that right?
You know, it's interesting, right?
They're hot and cold, these guys.
They are like a fiery relationship of people who've been fucking since they were 20, and like they've taken time off. Like one guy got married.
Baggage.
Yeah, one got married for 3 years, and the other one was like, overseas in the service. But then they'll run into each other at the local bar, and it'll rekindle it. Like, this is what these people are. But then they realize why they broke up, because they fight all the time.
But we love each other.
Billy said, quote, I like the guy. I really do. If it was just him and me, I don't think we'd have any problems. Our problems always came when somebody else got involved. The press, the players, all the other people involved in the sport of baseball.
The rest of the world.
If I could pitch and George could just play all the positions behind me, we'd be great. It'd be fine. No problems at all. I was getting along real well with Reggie until George talked to him, and he'd blow Reggie's brain. Blow his brain. Whoa. What? And the next thing you know, I couldn't communicate with Reggie. If it wasn't for other people, we would have worked things out, me and George. Every time we had a problem, I know he felt bad about it the next day. He was a different person. He always wanted the same goal I did, to win. And there's one thing you can't take away from him. He did bring the Yankees back. You can't knock that. When it comes to charity, he's number one. He's right up there, too. Mm-hmm. From the book, at the A's spring training complex, Billy seemed distracted. He sequestered himself for hours in a trailer he had situated behind the left field fence, where they were learning spitballs the year before. Yeah, conditioning. He insisted he was watching everything through the window of the trailer, but his players felt a sense of abandonment. Billy's just said none of this was easy to explain, basically. Years later, Clete Boyer said he felt Billy was most preoccupied with his money woes, and he also said Billy had health issues at that point. He said his stomach was bothering him, and I know he stopped drinking for about 2 months because of that. No trips to the Pink Pony. He was losing weight, and that kind of worried him too. So in the late 70s, Billy had suggested publicly that there was a spot on his liver, something that was never substantiated.
Oh, no.
When he died, doctors said he was in near perfect health for a 61-year-old. But that's insane, by the way.
Health.
This fucking life he led.
Yeah.
He's
in perfect health.
Perfect health. Can you imagine that?
No.
That's insanity. Yeah. Drinking like a monster for that long. That's insane. Fucking insane. 1982 A's, 68-94 and 5th in the AL West. Not good. Not good if you know anything about Billy from the first 8 parts of this. Billy ain't happy at all.
Yeah.
But here's some good Ricky Henderson stories. Okay. Dwayne Murphy said this, quote, Billy saw all the things Ricky was capable of doing, maybe even before Ricky really knew about it. Ricky, like Billy, had grown up poor in the East Bay. From the beginning, Billy shepherded his young charge, taking him to dinner, buying him clothes, and arranging for the use of a new car.
Oh.
Trying to pump him up, basically.
Yeah.
A guy like that, who back then he was playing center field too, a center fielder, leadoff, hitting, base stealing kind of guy, he's got to have confidence. He's got to be like, Mr. Energy and all
Swagger,
that kind of shit. Yeah. And Billy told Henderson, a star like you shouldn't drive a broken down Heat. It'll make him feel like a star, and then he'll play like a star.
You got to drive that car.
Yep. So then he flipped him the keys to a brand new red Ford Mustang. Mm-hmm. Billy had convinced a local car dealer to lease the car to the team. Come on.
Oh, yeah.
Come on. Get the kid a car.
What's the problem?
Henderson's mother, Bobby, said, I think with Ricky there was a trust factor. Billy saw that Ricky's career was going to take off, and he knew what to teach him to get him there. So Ricky could see what Billy was doing, and they sort of had that bond. I don't think there's a day that goes by that Ricky doesn't think about Billy. Then the book goes on to say, Henderson is an odd man. He tended to call other players by nicknames, although his teammates were occasionally convinced that he only did this because he never learned their names. There's the famous John Olerud story that they retell in the book, and we've told it before. It's a famous story, but for non-sports fans, you might not have heard it. John Olerud, first baseman, he wore a batting helmet in the field always.
Yeah.
Because he had an aneurysm in college, so he always wore a helmet in the field. That's why. He played with Henderson as a New York Met in 1999, and then Olerud went to the Seattle Mariners the next season, like mid-2000. He got traded over there, and Ricky happened to be with the Mariners that year. This is the year after they played together in New York, mind you, for a whole year, okay? Mm-hmm. Approaching Olerud in the field during batting practice one day, Henderson asked Olerud if he always wore a helmet in the field, and Olerud said he did. And Ricky said, we had a guy like that on the Mets last year who did that.
Yeah.
And Olerud said, yeah, Ricky, that was me.
That was me.
For 6 months on the same team.
Ricky didn't bother to remember anybody.
Didn't even remember John Olerud, who you'd remember him by being, because he's so unmemorable, you'd remember him. You know what I mean? That's crazy.
Wow.
That's the craziest story. And that John Olerud is the one who tells that story, so it's not like an apocryphal thing. It's John Olerud said, no, he didn't know who I was. We played the whole year together. No clue.
Unbelievable.
Ricky had 2 stints with the A's. During his second tour with the team, he earned a $1 million bonus at the end of the season for his numbers being in a spot. Months later, the A's accountants were flummoxed as to why their books were off by $1 million. Couldn't figure it out.
Yeah.
They discerned that Ricky had not cashed his bonus check.
What?
So the team called him and said, Ricky, did you not deposit your bonus check?
How about that money?
He said, no, I framed it and put it on my wall. He said, no, Ricky. You can't. You gotta cash that. You gotta actually put that in the bank, Ricky.
Imagine having so much money that $1 million is just fucking much fun.
You just hang it on the wall as a.
Yeah.
He could have bought $1 million painting and hung it on the fucking wall. That's
unbelievable.
That's his artwork. Yeah. That's amazing. That's so fucking funny. So June 21st, 1982, middle of the season, the A's suck and they're booing Billy.
Yeah.
And it's not good at all. This is from an article in the paper. They booed Billy Martin in Oakland, California early this season. Boo Billy Martin in Oakland? That's about as sacrilegious as Joe DiMaggio drinking tea. Why isn't Joe DiMaggio allowed to drink tea?
I guess because he...
Mr. Coffee. He did all the commercials for Mr. Coffee. Okay. There you go.
Don't
That's
look at
why.
me, man.
Coffee commercials.
I was going to say, is he an alcoholic?
No, that's why. All Billy Martin did was take Mike Norris out of a game and they booed, which was a good example of ingratitude as you can get. So this article is basically saying, this bullshit of booing a guy after he brought the team back from the brink is pretty shitty, basically. And they shouldn't do it. The paper's behind him.
Yeah.
But that's it. He said, I'm very happy where I am right now. And that was that. They said the reason why it won't happen in Oakland is because the people out there care about Billy Martin, not as manager, but as a person. And they've shown it many times. And I'm not talking about the fans. I'm talking about the owners. A lot of people thought when the A's got off slowly this year, it wouldn't be long before Billy began to lose interest. Wrong. During the slump, he called several clubhouse meetings and chewed out his team, calling the players a bunch of fat cats. Does that sound like a man who does not care? Is this a man who loses interest? Last year is history, Martin said. What did we do last year? We didn't win the World Series. And so, yeah, he said, we may be better this year. The way we started off this year, everyone said we're going to fold. Now they see us coming. But they don't. They turned out to be in fifth place. So,
Trash.
yeah, not good at all. Billy is struggling to keep his emotions in. Billy, here's from the Thomas Boswell article in the Los Angeles Times. On Billy Martin's left ring finger was a long wooden splint. What happened there, you think?
Who'd he punch? Yeah.
Sounds like a punching injury. It's broken, he said. On two other fingers, left pinky and right index, he had bandages. Just sprained on these, he said. Must have been a combination, right, Billy? Must have been a combination, right, Billy? He said, just a little accident. Yeah, that's what it is. They said recently, after his A's had allowed 6 unearned runs and a loss, Martin closed his door and went 10 rounds with his office.
Said Martin punched everything.
Punched everything. They said Martin had his fists. The office had pictures, furniture, and walls. The office won. It was the walls Martin couldn't beat. After an hour and a half, Martin was still sequestered in his room with his oldest adversary, himself. The next day, Martin said, I'm getting smarter as I get older. I finally punched something that couldn't sue me. Good job.
Office, yeah.
The office can't sue you. That's fucking awesome. But he said he's trying to change. He said it's better to do that. He says that the A's have a bright future, is what he said. He said, give us 3 more years. We got some kids down there who can really play baseball.
Okay.
3 years is a long time to wait in baseball here.
Yes.
That's not good. Okay, from the book. Late in the season, Billy asked for a loan from the team's owners for his IRS debt, and they refused. A day later, the A's lost a close game at home. Billy came into his office with Boyer and Fowler and locked the door. The 3 men then proceeded to destroy the office, tearing light fixtures off the wall and breaking the furniture by slamming it against the walls. The players heard the commotion. No one dared to investigate.
You'll pay your $200,000 one way or another.
Don't worry about it.
Buy me a new office.
You're gonna see my distaste for this situation laid out in this room. The noise abated, and after a few minutes, Billy Boyer and Fowler emerged. Left behind in the office were a pile of broken glass, a desk in pieces, and smashed chairs and tables. There were a multitude of punctures in the walls. The screen of the television set was kicked in. The refrigerator looks like it had been thumped multiple times with a baseball bat. There were no longer pictures hung on the walls. Jackie Moore, an A's assistant coach, said it looked like a bomb had gone off in the office. Mm-hmm. Billy went to have a drink in the trainer's room. Okay, Lou Fagone, whom Oakland's management had begun to value as a consigliere to their increasingly irrational field general, said, quote, the A's called me to come get him. Billy had just had it with all that was going on around him, but has never been reported is that he also had a fight on the phone that day with that woman, Jill.
Oh.
Like many of Billy's friends, although not all, Fagone detested Jill. Sitting in a bar with Billy, he would sometimes leave whenever she arrived. Vucinich, the guy who worked with the front office there, said, Lou was a good guy to have around and a terrific influence on Billy. He was there for Billy that day. He trashed his office. He and Billy left, and we started cleaning up. The destruction took place after the reporters had exited the clubhouse, so the goal was to rebuild the office by game time the next day so the reporters wouldn't notice.
Yeah.
That way, in theory, no one would know what happened. It got out anyway, obviously. But first, Vucinich called construction contractors of all kinds, drywallers, furniture makers, appliance outlets, and had the office put back together. He said that was some night, finding a new TV, new refrigerator, a new desk, a new wall, outlets, heck, new walls.
A new office.
He said 30 years later, he was laughing about it, and he said, but we got it done. As impressive as the rebuild was, Sandy Alderson and the A's new ownership had began to believe that Billy was becoming seriously unhinged. They called Sapir the next day, his buddy, his lawyer there. Uh-huh. Sapir said the A's management at the time was a bunch of preppy guys, Cal Berkeley guys and Ivy Leaguers. They felt embarrassed by Billy. First of all, they didn't like the 2 girlfriends. They could live with that. You should see how many girlfriends the players have. One in every city. Don't worry about Billy.
Marty's got 11 kids with 11 women. There's way worse guys out there.
What are you talking about? They couldn't live with that. They couldn't live with that. They didn't like some of the extreme behavior. They said to me, we won't find a better manager, and the losing this year isn't his fault, but we have to consider a change. We just don't feel good about all this. Mm-hmm. So off the field shit. Vucinic recalled something Roy Eisenhart, the club's chief executive, said at the time. Roy said, "I don't worry about Billy from the first inning to the ninth inning. I worry about him from the end of the ninth inning to the first inning the next day."
Mm-hmm.
He said, after Billy was cut loose, people said that he lost the team, but that's not true. The team never stopped believing in him. He lost support of the management. He worried them. Obviously, he drank too much after games. I never saw Billy drink before games or during a game. I never saw it affect his performance, but there was a lot of booze after the games back then. It was a sign of the times, but management had lost its brilliance or its tolerance. So Billy, who was among the sport's worst losers, had helped push Oakland's management to the decision. His son, Billy Joe, said, quote, "He was not a person that was happy going through the motions. That was hell for him. And you look at his career, he manufactured some of his own firings almost."
Oh, yeah.
And he also said you could make the case that he had everything he wanted in Oakland. He had color back in his face. He even had a little gut. He was comfortable. That's the problem. He didn't want comfortable.
Yeah, he needs chaos.
The season concludes with the A's at a terrible season, and about 3 weeks later, October 20th, they fire Billy with 3 years left on his contract.
Oh.
Yeah. They also said the club does not attribute the fifth-place finish this year to failings on Billy's part. It resulted from a combination of circumstances beyond anyone's control, and the challenge now is to reverse the results of last year. So basically, it's not Billy's fault that the team sucked, but the team sucks, and we need to fix it. So we're firing him anyway. In November, he went with Jill and Eddie Sapir to another television commercial shoot in Manhattan. At a nightclub party during the visit, a New York Daily News photographer spotted Billy and took a picture of him standing close to Jill.
Uh-oh.
The next day, with Billy still perceived as likely the next Yankees manager, the photograph took up half a page in the Daily News. Billy was certain that Heather would hear about the photo from one of her many cousins, aunts, and uncles. It's front page of the Daily News. You're fucked. So with the photo on newsstands across the city, Billy and Sapir ended up in a Blarney Stone bar, a chain of unsophisticated but popular Irish pubs that seemed to be in every Manhattan neighborhood in the 70s and 80s. Sapir said Billy was all upset about the picture in the paper. He kept talking all about how Heather was going to see the picture and how much it would bother her. After a couple of drinks, he asked me if I could get a justice of the peace or someone for a wedding in New Orleans. And I said, yeah, I could do that. And he asked, could you set up all the licenses and get a hotel for a day? And I said, sure.
Yeah.
He didn't say much else. Then he got up and got to go to the bathroom. It took him a little while, but when he came back, he said, I just proposed to Heather. He said, that'll fix it. I'll marry her. What the fuck?
Nothing to bitch about.
Now, yeah, what are you going to complain about now? So, wow. Sapir said, I called Heather, and she said, Eddie, is he serious? And I said, well, Heather, you know he loves you, and he asked me to set up a wedding in New Orleans. He wants me to get all the licenses and a hotel suite and all of that, so I guess, yes, he's serious. So I went back to my seat, and Billy said he wanted to get married that month. I started thinking of New Orleans hotels to call. But first, Billy and his lawyer, the New Orleans judge, left the Blarney Stone to meet Jill across town for dinner. Jesus. The wedding was on November 30th at the Maison Dupuis Hotel in the French Quarter. The guest list was limited. Billy instructed the Sapirs and others not to say much about it. Sapir, who rarely interfered in Billy's personal life, felt relieved. He said, because I figured that would be the end of Jill and the two girlfriends situation. I thought Jill would go away, but obviously Jill didn't go away. He said Billy continued to see both women, although he hid the marriage from Jill and almost everyone else.
Didn't even tell her he was married.
My God, no wonder why he's a wreck. Your stomach would be a wreck if this is your whole...
You got to be, shitting your pants every day.
Christ. So they keep asking him, are you going to be the next Yankee manager?
Mm-hmm.
He said, I got nothing to say. No denials, no nothing. I don't honor rumors. If I'm going to be, if I'm not going to be, the time will come when someone will announce it. That's that.
Fair enough.
January 11th, the Yankees announced that Billy would be the Yankees manager again. He had a long-term contract. In fact, he would remain in the Yankees' employ for the rest of his life. And he would.
Really?
Even when he's not manager, he's got like a kind of like the WWE does the Legends contracts where they get the old guys, they do a bunch of appearances for them, and they do the Hall of Fame shit and all that. That's basically, Billy, you're going to stay in a goddamn Yankee uniform. Come out for Old Timers Day, wave your little hat. The fans love Billy, and that's that. Yeah. We're going to keep him around as like a mascot, if nothing else. So that's what it was. His son called him when he heard the news, and he said, Dad, please, not again. Not the Yankees again. Not again.
Don't do it again. Yeah.
Why? And Billy said, that's what I'm paid. That's what I am, Pard. I'm a Yankee.
Pard? Oh, that's sweet.
That's what I'm doing. So he is hired for the third time. It's a big goddamn deal. Martin told the Yankee Stadium news conference, they said, aren't you pissed off at George all the time? And he said, I've been mad at my mother too, but I still love her.
Very mad at my mother.
All the time. George said, I believe Billy and I have lines of communications open. Sure, there's been times when Billy and I have disagreed, but I believe Billy and Martin can stir up enough excitement on his own that he and I won't be getting into any trouble. You know that a sailboat with no wind goes absolutely nowhere.
Yeah.
All right, then. So that's what he said. So anyway, that's what's going on. It's pretty goddamn interesting here. He's a third time. So now there was speculation that he'd been assured by Steinbrenner that he would be a Yankee manager in '83 if he could get himself fired by Oakland, and had maybe been trying to get fired. Basically said, if you can get out of Oakland, you're our manager. Billy Martin's mom is in the newspaper saying she knows her son can handle the pressure. There's a whole article here about how Billy Martin's mom says, he'll be fine. Don't you worry about him.
All right.
It's all right.
Mom said so.
Yeah, Mom said that it's all good. February 21st, 1983, here, there's an article that says 5 years a long shot for Billy Martin, meaning you could sign him for 5 years, but we all know he's not going to be the manager for 5 fucking years. Let's be realistic here. George is used to paying managers for years they weren't coaching. But he said, I think this is going to be a great relationship. I really hope it is. And I hope when I decide to step down as manager, I retire gracefully, I can go into the front office with him. He said, everybody changes a little bit. He said, have I changed? Yeah, I think I've changed a little bit. I'm more of a home man than I've ever been before.
Oh, is that right?
I'm a married man now, for Christ's sake. I'm settled down for fuck. Come on. What are we talking about? He said, I think that's the biggest change. Also, I know from my end of it, I'll try to be more understanding. I'll try to explain more to him than I have in the past so that he'll understand better, which I never did before. I think that's important. He said also, they said, well, what does it mean that you're more of a home man? What difference does that make?
Yeah.
And he said, I used to stop and have a drink before I left the ballpark. He said, but I don't do that now. I might do it once in a while, but now I go home and watch TV. I relax more now. I intend to do that in New York, too. Right. Good luck with that. And he says also, I'm in a better position. He goes, he doesn't want to fire a guy 3 times. How dumb does he look? He says, I feel less likely to get fired because George is going to look like a dummy for firing me again.
He's already fired me twice. He can't fire me a third time. Trick.
Exactly right. He said, so, yeah. He said, when George called, I was not coming back to baseball for a while. I was ready to sit home and clip my coupons. I've got a lot of coupons, too, $680,000 worth, because he had that left on his contract. Mm-hmm. He said, I didn't have to come back. I didn't need this battle. But he said, this time is different. He said, what didn't I do the first 2 times? I believe we won, didn't we? What do you want me to do? Headstands? Okay. He said, what I'd like to do this time is not get fired.
Yeah.
And he said, I'm going to keep communicating with George, and it's going to be fine. Okay. We'll see about that. 1983 New York Yankees, 91-71, third in the AL East. But that's a good record. 91 wins is excellent here. For Billy, and he lasts the whole year, which is good. These are this lineup. Boy, oh boy. This is like one of a lot of these guys I remember from like 84, 85 when I was real little, but getting into baseball cards and knowing all the players and everything. Steve Balboni, first of all, who's he's the best physical specimen I've ever seen in a baseball uniform.
Oh.
He looks like somebody's fat Italian dad. He's huge. He's a big 6'3", 225, big burly son of a bitch, bald as Homer Simpson, mustache.
Yeah.
Look up Steve Balboni right now. You're going
makes
to
you
piss
feel like
yourself
an
when you see him.
athlete.
He played for the Royals too. He was a DH most of the time. And just a big son of a bitch that hit a lot of home runs once in a while if he made contact.
All right.
Just a big fat guinea. He's awesome. Love him.
Steve Balboni.
I loved Steve Balboni. So everybody likes Steve Balboni because he's just this fat bat. He looks like he's going to make you a sandwich at a deli. He does not look like a baseball player.
Oh, yeah.
Look at the guy.
Oh, man.
He's like Rick Cerrone. Same guy. Just fat guy. Love him.
He does look fun, though.
Oh, yeah.
He looks like he does cook very well.
Oh, that guy can make you a hell of
Master
an
of the
Italian
chef.
combo.
Or
He
the
makes
chef, yeah.
makes nice
Yeah.
meatballs, I feel like. He's
Yeah.
good. Don Baylor also on that team, who I
right.
loved Don Baylor when I was little. He was just this real stern, he managed forever, but back in the day, he was this real stern, mean-looking black guy, and he had this short swing, and he'd hit home runs, and I fucking loved him, thought he was great. Wow, Bert Campanaris was on this team? Jesus Christ, he was 41. I was going to say, how old is he, 100? I thought he'd be a coach. Rick Cerrone. They had Cerrone and Balboni on the same team.
Same team,
For the love of God. Those two leave and do not look, they look like the catering staff. They don't look like the baseball players. That's awesome. If you look up Rick Cerrone, you'll get a good laugh out of him, too. Oscar Gamble, after he cut his fro down.
Oh, nice.
Goose Gossage, Ken Griffey Sr., Ron Guidry, who was great back then, Jay Howell, Steve Kemp, Matt Keough, who we did a episode on him, I believe, right?
Yeah. Sounds familiar.
Yeah, he was the Real Housewives guy with the A's and all that.
Yeah, right.
Don Mattingly at 22 fucking years old, man. The man. Love Don Mattingly. John Montefusco. That's just a great, it's a great Bob Shepard name to say.
Yeah.
Fucking Greg Nettles, Otis Nixon. They had this is the beginning. They had Otis Nixon, Otis Jr., Nixon Jr. before anybody else did.
It's the funniest thing ever.
Lou Piniella. My favorite name, Roland Office. I always love that name. A weird name. Roland with a W. R-O-W.
wow. Yeah.
Roland Office. Willie Randolph, Dave Rigetti, Dave Winfield is when they first got Winfield. I loved Dave Winfield when I was little. Oh, my God. I loved him so much. Him and Don Mattingly were the shit. And Butch Weininger, the catcher. Okay. So, in 1983, Billy had a stately long town car with the license plate Yankee 1.
Nice.
Oh, my God. And he told Gernand to always park it next to Steinbrenner's plain Oldsmobile in the VIP parking lot just outside Yankee Stadium. He said, I want him to see that big car and Yankee 1 license plate every time he comes out after a game. Let him know who the real top Yankee is. Yeah, this is going to last forever, huh?
Really getting his head about this.
Yep. So the guy asked, what if George says something to me about the fact that we're always right next to him? And Billy said, say that you only take orders from me and then tell him to go fuck himself. And then he laughed.
Go fuck yourself.
Go fuck yourself, George.
Oh, boy.
So
that's going to work out great.
This is going to be a marriage made in heaven.
Yeah.
Speaking of marriages made in heaven, let's talk about Billy's personal life and his marriage.
Oh, boy. Yeah.
Gernand, that's the guy who parks his car, could soon be found throughout the eastern United States driving for Billy. A considerate, wise man behind the gruff exterior, he also began to feel like a guardian to his boss in more ways than one. Tex Gernand, for example, expressed his concern to Sapir about Billy's two-woman lifestyle. This has been years now. He's just maintained two full relationships. This is crazy. Gernand did not understand the relationship with Heather, whom he saw irregularly whenever she stayed at the Carlisle hotel suite Billy was renting. Tex usually spent more time with Jill, and the whole situation vexed him. Gernand said, she seems like a young girl, someone still growing up, of Heather. I didn't understand the whole setup. Like, who is this girl? What is this? Tex wasn't the only one to feel they needed to say something. Eddie Sapir said, I said to Billy, look, you're a big-time public figure. Now, especially that you're back with the Yankees, now you're really in the spotlight.
Yeah,
you're not in fucking Oakland, where you're the, you're the second team of a, this is a big deal. You're not the White Sox manager. You're the fucking Yankee manager, he said. So he said, it's not going to end well if this gets out. Sapir said, I suggested that if Jill was going to stick around, that we had to give her a job and a title. We had started Billy Martin public relations firm out of my office in New Orleans. I suggested that we hired Jill as Billy's official photographer. Then we have an explanation for her presence and all the travel. At least let me cover for you, Billy. Let me
make this legit. Yeah.
Let me cover your ass here for you. Jill described 1983 as a year of awakening for her. She said, I had never lived on the East Coast, and I had never seen so many things about that, but Billy showed me the world. Billy wanted everyone around him to be having a good time, and he wanted to share his world. He taught me to cook. I have the recipes to this day. Italian food, chicken Florentine, a lovely lamb that he stewed all day. He had a temper and could be very jealous, which was not always nice, but that usually passed very quickly. We were having a blast most of the time. So, Steinbrenner personally addressed the team at one point, admonishing the players for their sub-500 start. He also had a private closed-door meeting with Billy and his coaches, who during which he ridiculed relief pitcher George Frazier, according to coaches who later spoke off the record to reporters about the meeting. For his part, Billy also went into the clubhouse afterward and told the players to ignore everything George just said, eliciting a round of chuckles.
Yeah.
Billy's old adversary, Henry Hecht of the New York Post, wrote about the players' and coaches' meetings, giving details of both, including the derision directed at Frazier. That day, Hecht's story ran. Reporters were in Billy's office when Steinbrenner called. Billy was heard saying that he hadn't read the article. Then he said, Henry, okay, I'll take care of it. Okay. The next day, about 2 hours before the game, Billy was in his office telling reporters that Hecht's story was false on several accounts when he was informed that Hecht was in the clubhouse. Billy hurried out of his office. Hey, can I have your attention for a second? He announced to the players. We had a private meeting in Texas, a clubhouse meeting, and nothing leaves the clubhouse, and I don't think anything did. At least I haven't read anything written that was accurate. But we have a writer here now who has me knocking Frazier, George knocking Frazier, and me knocking George, and he wasn't even in Texas. Billy continued, pointing at Hecht, who was about 10 feet away, quote, I don't ever say don't talk to the writers, but don't talk to Henry Hecht. That's him right there, in case you didn't know him.
That guy right there.
In case Ricky Henderson's around and, he's not going to recognize him.
Doesn't ask names.
If you do talk to him, you're making a mistake. He doesn't care if he hurts you or gets you fired. He's using you. He's the worst fucking scrounge we've ever had around this club.
Scrounge?
Jesus. In a stunned and silent clubhouse, Hecht looked at Billy and said, you can imagine what I think of you.
Yeah.
Billy said, I've read what you think of me.
Oh.
Hecht said, you're paranoid. Billy said, I'm not paranoid. I don't have to be paranoid to see that you're a little prick.
Oh.
Okay. Billy went into his office telling Hecht that he wouldn't deny him his ability to make a living before adding, but stay away from me or I'll dump you in the whirlpool. I don't want to talk to you. When Billy was asked afterwards if Steinbrenner put him up to his rant against Hecht, Billy said, George called me and told me to handle the article. That's what I did. Yeah. There was plenty of coverage of Billy's diatribe in the New York papers. Then it died out quickly, although not in the mind of Hecht. Hecht said it was just another sign of how disturbed and unbalanced he'd become. Since the brouhaha went away, although some players were aghast at what they witnessed, it was just the first of many bizarre moments during 1983. All right, here we go.
1983. It's
May
a tough year.
May 27th, 1983. Another round for Billy is the headline in the newspaper. A man who said he just wanted to buy Billy Martin a beer has claimed he was hit by the New York Yankees manager and roughed up by the bullpen catcher. Police are investigating the incident that occurred in the Anaheim Hyatt Hotel bar early Wednesday morning after the Yankees suffered a 7-6 10-inning loss to the California Angels. That's a bad night to fuck with Billy. Robin Olson, 27, of El Toro, California, filed a report with the Anaheim police alleging that Martin hit him in the face and called him, quote, a faggot. There you go. There you go. Olson.
He called Billy that?
Billy called him that and then hit him in the face. Olson also claimed that he was being beaten by bullpen catcher Dom Scala. The Martin Scala version of the story was a different one, obviously. Who, by the way, the other guy's a real estate and finance guy. Martin said, I told the police I didn't even touch the guy. The guy came up 4 or 5 times and wouldn't leave us alone. It was that, if that was an altercation, it was the mildest I've ever been in and the first I've gotten into sitting down. If my name wasn't Billy Martin, I'd have knocked him down 30 minutes earlier. I didn't hit him. If I did, I must be losing my punch. If I hit him, they show.
He didn't fall.
Yeah, he didn't fall. He said, maybe I've matured. 2 years ago, I'd have decked him. Nothing happened as far as I'm concerned. The guy was looking for publicity. He came behind me and said, and it seemed like he threw something at me. We called the security guards, and they threw the guy out of the place. That's it. Olson, though, said that I went over and bought him a beer. I'm a real happy-go-lucky type person. I was excited. Here was my opportunity to meet him. I thought he was going to be really nice. Yeah. He said he went over to Martin and handed him the beer, and Martin called him an abusive name and told him to get away from him in an obscene manner. He said my bubble was just burst. I went back. He's not 8. You're not 8. But if you're 8 and you're like, yeah, I was 8 and I went up to this guy for an autograph and he dismissed me and called me fucking slurs, that would be one.
You're an adult that bought a beer for another man and he
doesn't
you were
want
hitting on him.
Yeah. You're 27 and also too, if I was 27 and got beat up by a guy in his mid 50s, I don't think I'd be announcing that shit publicly. I'd be pretty fucking embarrassed about
humility?
that. Yeah, a little bit. Jesus Christ. He said when I went back and asked him why he called me that name, what had I done? Well, there's your mistake.
There it is. Yeah.
He doesn't want you around him, obviously. Yeah. Walk away, stupid. And he called me that again as I walked away. When I went to leave, I told him I wasn't what he had called me.
Oh.
He motioned to his friend who grabbed me by the arm and walked me outside. He told me if I didn't leave Martin alone, he would take care of me. I walked back over to tell Martin I was so... Okay, you've had multiple opportunities. You've been told to go the fuck away several times. Yeah. Not in a good way. He called you a bad name and all that. Yeah. But you get the idea.
Shit. Yeah.
And then literally another guy walked you outside and said, get the fuck out of here. And you go, I'm just going to go apologize. No.
Not yet. Let me go up here real quick.
Oh, my God. Went back to tell him I was sorry. I told him what got me upset was that he called me a name. So you're just relitigating it again. That's what you're doing. I'm sorry, but you called me a name. And okay, well, I'm going to punch you then. Go away.
You're kicking the hornet's nest a lot.
Yeah. I tapped him on the shoulder just to get his attention.
You touched him?
That's enough. If I'm Billy, I'm punching him at this point, too. I wouldn't have called him that to begin with, but still. He grabbed me and ripped my shirt at the collar, then took a swing at me. He yanked on my shirt hard enough so that when he hit me, it grazed me on the right cheek. At the same time, Scala grabbed my hair and pulled me down to the floor and banged my head to the floor about 15 times. I didn't try to defend myself at all. I couldn't believe what was happening. There's hair missing on the side of my head where he grabbed me. He used my hair to hit my head against the floor. I work hard on my hair, and he hits it. He hits my hair. He did it about 15 times in succession. I kept saying, stop, please.
Please stop.
Why did you call me that name? Bounce, bounce, stop, please. But Billy called me a name. Does this matter at this point? Oh, my God. He said the security guards pulled him off of me. Olson said he was not intoxicated. You're that big of a jackass sober?
Yeah.
Wow. He said he had 3 drinks in Anaheim Stadium during the game and 1 more at the hotel several hours later at the time of the incident. Martin had been involved in obviously a lot of similar incidents. So there you go. Okay, here's June 15th, 1983. New York Yankees manager Billy Martin emerged after his team lost to the Cleveland Indians 9-6 Tuesday night, took matters into his own hands after the game. Martin grabbed a bat and smashed a urinal behind the New York Yankee dugout following the Yankees' 4th straight loss. Martin said, none of the players did it. I broke it. I called Gabe Paul, Indians president, and offered to pay for it. Paul's the guy that used to be his boss in the Yankees. He also ordered during a pregame meeting that television in the team's clubhouse not be turned on following New York losses. Keep the fucking TV off.
Yeah.
Okay. The team's play was erratic and the players were aging. This is from the book here. Still, the Yankees were neck and neck with the Orioles, Tigers, and Blue Jays for the divisional lead throughout most of the summer. Just hours before a June home game, there was another firestorm, and it had began with a researcher for the New York Times named Deborah Henschel, who was in the Yankees clubhouse handing out ballots to the players for a poll about the All-Star game. All the facts of the scene that played out next are unclear. Which it's a mess then.
It's not good.
Although it's indisputable that Billy ended up loudly escorting Henschel from the clubhouse. He later said he didn't know she was a representative of the New York Times. Art Fowler had also been fired that day, which did not improve Billy's mood. Didn't get fired by Billy, got fired by George because the pitching was fucking up. Billy said he thought Henschel was dressed provocatively, something about a skirt with a slit in it, and he thought she was a girlfriend of a player. Henschel said Billy angrily cursed at her. Eventually, the Yankees made sure Henschel could complete her assignment in the visitors' locker room. The episode made newspapers, and the American League launched an investigation, interviewing her and Yankees employees, and all of whom said they never saw a thing. I didn't see nothing. All of them are following the mind your own fucking business motto. The investigation absolved Billy of any wrongdoing. The Yankees were only 3 games back in the AL East standings, but the controversies, none that had anything to do with baseball, kept piling up. On a trip to Milwaukee County Stadium, the Yankees were playing a game on a sunny Sunday afternoon. Billy was sitting on a towel on a concrete wall at the edge of the dugout. Reporters could not help but notice a striking, fetching blonde in short shorts lounging in the front row box next to where Billy sat. Throughout the game, Billy appeared to be conversing with the blonde, who had kicked off her sandals and placed her long, tanned legs on a railing by the field's boundary. It was Jill.
Yeah.
He's got Jill sitting there. At some point, the press box watched as Jill started passing handwritten notes to Billy by writing them on a small piece of paper and then placing them between her toes. In the dugout, Billy was plucking the notes from Jill's toes. You can't do this during a game, Billy. What are you fucking doing?
Very obvious.
Good God, man. Like no one's looking at her legs, stretched out. At first, the reporters decided to not write about the scene. But as often happened, press box packs dissolved in the heat of a competitive newspaper environment. Bill Madden of the New York Daily News wrote about the young woman passing notes to Billy. The next day in the visitors' clubhouse, Billy was told what Madden wrote. "He did what?" Billy yelped. "How the hell could he do that? Doesn't he know I'm married? I'm married."
Why did you do it?
What are you blowing my spot up for, dude? I'm a married man. You fucking... Oh, my God.
Do that in public, Billy.
Yeah, he was like, he's breaking guy code here. This is fucked up. Players were often seen with paramours or girlfriends on the road, known as imports. That's the ones from the road.
Really?
They call them imports. Yeah, you fly them in. Right. Ones you fly in are imports.
All right.
But that was never, that comics call them imports.
Yeah? Really?
Yeah. That's the word they've called them forever in sports and showbiz and everything else. But that was never written about. Yeah, that's not part of it.
No.
A nighttime rendezvous away from the ballpark didn't seem like anyone's business. Now some woman was passing the Yankees manager notes with her toes next to the dugout in broad daylight. It became big news. Yeah. If it wasn't during the game,
nobody would have noticed.
That's the thing. Steinbrenner was not pleased, although he did not quite know what to do. He flew to Cleveland to meet the team on their next stop. So did Sapir. The three had lunch, and Billy and George yelled at each other throughout much of the meal. When the lunch ended, George actually said he felt better. George said, "At least we got some things off our chest," and that was the end of it. The woman in short shorts had become a mirage. Sapir, in fact, issued a memorable statement. As Madden and the Newark Star-Ledger's venerable reporter Moss Klein wrote in their 1990 book, Damn Yankees, Sapir announced to the gathered reporters in the team hotel, "Reports of the girl are unfounded." Don't worry about it. So by June of 83, they're saying he's going to get fired again. The newspaper. Are Martin's days numbered? Oh my God! They're talking about who's gonna replace him already, oh my God! And also about the urinal and everything like that. The Yankees said they'll pay for the urinal. Sorry, Cleveland.
That's nice.
Which Cleveland is a urinal.
Visiting team.
Yeah, Cleveland is a urinal. It's fine. June 23rd, 1983. This is an editorial. Idolization of Billy Martin is misguided.
Oh, is it?
Oh yeah. From some highlights from this article. He is clearly a menace, a study in disgraceful behavior, perhaps the most distasteful person ever in sport.
Ever?
Are you out of your mind? What is good about him? What has he ever done for the betterment of athletics? A brawler, a drinker, foul-mouthed enemy of all that's good and decent in the sport. Bullshit. There's been a million guys just like him and 10,000 way worse than him. What are you talking about?
Out in public and out in the eye, and you can see everything he does.
If you shifted Billy's career just 30 years, if you put it back 30 years, you would have never heard about any of this shit.
There's not enough technology to,
wouldn't have been a big deal at all here. But this guy just goes off calling, George Steinbrenner, understandably so, is the worst of the bunch. And he is the worst of the bunch at a whole lot of other things. 3 times, or is it 13 times he's hired Martin and soon will be compelled to fire him yet another time. George, you're as bad as Billy Martin. Only you deserve him. Drop the act, the absurd public show you're foisting upon the public.
Right.
Jesus Christ. Okay. July 6, 1983. Now, Reggie Jackson pulls out of the All-Star game.
Oh.
They said, the newspaper says, he must have been eavesdropping on what Billy Martin had to say to the other night in the press room at Yankee Stadium. Martin was talking about the changes needed in the format of the All-Star game, not in the voting, but in the way it was played. He didn't like the idea that the starting lineup is forced on the manager under the current rules. It's whoever's voted in starts, and then you pick the rest. As an example of how burdensome this can be, Martin just happened to use the name Reggie Jackson. Martin at the time had no way of knowing Reggie Jackson would pull out of the game with a case of lingering sore ribs. Billy thought that Harvey Kuhn would have to write in Jackson as his starting right fielder because the fans had voted him the honor. He said, I don't see why an all-star manager should have to send Reggie Jackson up there with his .210 batting average to strike out 2 or 3 times and push his glasses back on his nose and walk back to the bench.
Yeah.
And he sure as shit isn't going to help much in the outfield. He said, he's not an all-star player anymore. He said, let him take his bow and sit down. Martin thinks that any baseball game that is not played to win is a sin against man. It says, is it a show or is it a ball game? If it's a ball game, then let's play it like any other ball game. Let's win the goddamn game. Let's play the best players for the entire game, and that includes the pitcher. Make changes only to help win the game, same as any other game. He doesn't want to take the voting away from the fans. He said it's fun for them. Let them keep voting, but let it be an honorary thing. The men they vote will go to the All-Star game. Just being there should be an honor enough for any player. He gets the prize. He takes his wife. He has a good time, but he doesn't have to play. Not if the All-Star manager doesn't want to use him. He said, the fans haven't done so well by me. I'm 0-3 in All-Star games, he said. So, all right. Now, here is a major crazy event, the George Brett pine tar incident.
Okay.
And now, if you're a sports fan, you've seen at least the highlight of George Brett. It's the only time I've ever seen a man go from being in a seated position to standing and up 3 steps in one motion. I've never seen anyone explode upwardly like that before, ever.
Nice. Okay.
And it's George Brett getting a home run called back on him, saying because Billy Martin said the pine tar.
Yeah.
It's known as the pine tar incident. Right. George Brett came out of the dugout, literally was sitting in the dugout, and in one motion went from sitting to in a full sprint out of the dugout, which is like a 3-step up fucking deal. And he's running and not running like a normal run. He is high stepping. He looks like his ass is on fire, which George Brett had a lot of hemorrhoids too and had to have surgeries and shit, so his ass might have been on fire. But he looked like my friend one time when we were playing with fireworks when I was like 15, a jumping jack went up the leg of his shorts.
Yeah.
And they're the ones that spin and go when they shoot up.
They whistle, yeah.
It went up the leg of his shorts and spun around.
Oh, no.
And burned him for the entire length of this firework. It was up his short leg. He did exactly what George Brett did. He ran high step and go, oh, Jesus Christ. And I was on the ground dying laughing, even though he was being, I'm sure, scarred for life.
Yeah.
And his taint and asshole. But this is what he did. George Brett came out, his eye. I've never seen a man go crazier than this. I mean, honestly. Okay. If he could have killed that umpire, he would have killed him. He would have murdered him. He's held back. He's freaking. His feet are off the ground at one point. People are holding him. He's swinging, going nuts. Okay, July 24th, the Yankees, who were just a game and a half out of first place, played the Kansas City Royals. They took a 4-3 lead into the 9th inning when Gossage came out to face George Brett with 2 outs and a runner on first. This is a showdown here.
Yeah.
You got Goose Gossage and Brett, who's a great hitter. Brett lashed a long home run into the right field seats for a 5-4 Royals lead. Billy, with Nettles' help, had noticed in a game 3 weeks earlier that Brett had pine tar, which is the shit you use to the sticky shit on the bat in case you don't know anything about baseball so you can grip it better. Yeah. He had this far up the barrel of the bat. There's a rule of how far up the barrel of the bat you can have the pine tar. Yeah. So the rule at the time was the pine tar could not extend more than 18 inches past the knob of the bat. They said it was a silly rule. Pine tar had no impact on the flight of a batted ball, but it was the rule in the book because pine tar stained the baseball and made it sticky, and that's why they had it on there. So it possibly gave pitchers something to use for an illegal pitch afterward. Obscure as the rule was, nobody
gives a
adhered to it. It didn't matter. It never been called. No one gave a shit. So they said, though, as obscure as it was still called from time to time. It was called on the Yankees' Thurman Munson in 1979, which had brought a screaming Mad Billy from the dugout.
Yeah.
He said it might be a ticky-tack rule, but it has been enforced in the past, so it's not like it's never enforced. So Billy said he saw Brett's bat but didn't say anything. He said he was just going to wait till Brett got a big hit and then take it away. He said, don't say anything. He's going to ground out to second. Let him ground out to second. Who gives a shit?
If he puts it over the wall on a 3-run blast, we're going to talk about it.
It's at a game-leading hitter, a hit, yeah. So with Brett celebrating his go-ahead home run in the visitor's dugout, the time was right. Billy calmly strode out to home plate umpire Tim McClellan to question the legality of Brett's bat.
Yeah.
Billy said the pine tar's beyond the 18-inch mark. McClellan took the bat from the Kansas City bat boy, who was still holding it. The umpire knew the front part of home plate was 18 inches in width. Mm-hmm. Okay, so waiting in the dugout, Brett was pacing, vowing revenge if Billy's protest nullified the home run. He said in the dugout, if they call me out, you're going to see 4 dead umpires. And he was trying. McClellan measured the bat against home plate and saw the pine tar extended beyond 18 inches. He pointed at Brett in the dugout, held up his fist, making the signal for an out. You're fucking out.
Done, yeah.
The bat was illegal under Rule 1.10C, and that made Brett out under Rule 6.06. The game was over. The Yankees were declared 4-3 winners. Bye.
Game's over.
Game's over. Billy smiled and walked back to the dugout with his hands in his back pocket. Another victory stolen from the jaws of defeat. That's a pure managerial win, too. In one of the most replayed video scenes in baseball history, Brett stormed from the dugout in a crazed fury trying to get at McClellan. He was trying to kill the umpire.
Yeah.
If he got his hands on him, I think he would have beat him to death on the field. I really do. If you watch the video, there's no doubt he was trying to. Another umpire grabbed Brett by the neck. Various players and Kansas City manager Dick Hauer were being ejected. The league immediately said it would review the matter at a later date. A precious few games in history of American sports have been replayed after the game officials have made a determination of a rule. There's no do-overs in baseball.
That's it, yeah.
Even when it was later established the officials were wrong, it stands. That's it.
Ruling's the ruling, yeah.
But in this case, American League President Lee McPhail decided to replay the end of the game.
What?
There was a correct ruling, though. He had pine tar more than 18 inches up. That's an out. You're out.
Yeah.
Change the rule and then do it next time. But you can't go back and fix it.
Replay.
But they did. They absolutely did. They made them replay it, and this is one of the funniest fucking things in that's ever happened. This is why I love Billy Martin. Shit like this. When it was later established the officials were wrong, they don't replay, but they said that McPhail, fed up with constant berating of his umpires by Billy and Steinbrenner, conceded the umpires had executed their pine tar ruling justly. But in McPhail's judgment, the umpire's decision was not in the spirit of the rule. Oh. You made the right call, but I don't like George Steinbrenner and Billy Martin, so you're okay. So McPhail ordered the game replayed from the moment after Brett's homer. So now it's 5-4 Royals, and we got to pick the game back up. Billy ends up getting suspended out of this because of remarks that Martin made about umpires during this game. So he's suspended. Oh. Anyway, it's a long story. Martin called him a stone liar and said he was too stupid to read the rule book about an umpire at a game against the White Sox here. By the way, during that replaying of that inning here, Billy put in like Ron Guidry in center field.
Yeah.
His ace pitcher. He put Don Mattingly at third base, a left-handed first baseman. Right. Ever see a left-handed third baseman? No, because they don't exist. Don Mattingly played third base. Made a great double play too. Picked it up, slung that shit. Fuck, Mattingly was a great fielder. It's just so impressive. But he just threw his names in a hat and put them in the field wherever because it was his protest of the protest, basically, which makes me love him. Okay, here's an article. Billy Martin, Mr. Nice Guy. New York Yankees manager Billy Martin gets plenty of negative publicity. That's why a disabled, unemployed father of 3 wants to make sure the world hears about Martin's latest exploit, an act of charity. Ronald Gay, 39, said he didn't have enough money to take his family to a game between the Brewers and Yankees last weekend. Instead, he took them to the hotel where the Yankees were staying so they could see some players for free.
Nice.
He wound up meeting Martin, who responded to his plight by saying he would arrange for 6 tickets for 3 of the games and even gave Gay $20. Even gave him money.
Yeah.
He said, I went outside and started crying, and my daughter went back in and thanked him. Then another man came out and said, Billy wants you to have this, which was the money. Buy the kids some milkshakes. Gay said he wanted people to know that Martin could be a good guy. He does have a heart. I feel Billy Martin should get some credit. My family loves Billy Martin for Billy Martin. Okay. Now, October of 1983, Martin thinks that agents are ruining the game of baseball.
Agents are doing it.
Agents are driving it all up. He said, I wish I were an owner so I could deal with the agents. When they came to my office complaining about how the manager was treating their player, I'd tell them to take a hike. Fuck the agents. They're ruining baseball. Done with them. He said he blames player agents. He blames what he calls disloyal coaches for his tenuous posture. He said a manager must pick his own coaches. I want to be able to walk down the hall without worrying who's behind me. Agents don't care about winning games. All they care about is incentive clauses for their players. They want their client to get so many hits, make so many appearances, pitch so many innings so they can get another bundle of money. Then the agent gets a percentage, and that's all the agents care about, percentages. I'm all for players getting money, but let it be a flat salary and cut the incentive bonuses. That's how agents ruin baseball. Now, I have the opposite view. I think if you don't want to pay these guys guaranteed money and you go, oh, this guy could not do shit this year. He could hit 220 and he's still making fucking $30 million. Well, load it up with incentives then.
Force them to work harder.
And if they deliver for you, you pay them happily.
To sign that contract, yeah.
And if they deliver, pay them happily.
Good for you, yeah.
Good for fucking you, man. Yeah. That's it. He said, I have to get a certain player into today's game. It means another $10,000 to him. When I was in Oakland, Wayne Gross got an extra $50,000 for playing 100 games at third base. A few years ago, there were 5 guys I had to put in the lineup on the last day so that they could collect bonuses. That's all wrong. If they don't get in enough, I'm the asshole. I don't even know about the clauses. I found out about them by accident. I was given a list by the office. A manager shouldn't have to worry about such things. A manager should only worry about winning.
Managing.
Yeah. So the 1983, they won 91 games but didn't win the division. Mm-hmm. Ron Guidry, the pitcher, said the 1983 team was kind of a transition team. We had good players, but the mix was off. There was kind of a disconnect, and there were more players on that roster who had problems with Billy than in previous years. And frankly, Billy was having more problems off the field than before. He had a lot going on, as we know, there. So November 5th, 83, they're saying, is he even going to be back?
Good question.
There's rumors of dissension from everybody. Goose Gossage, Rick Cerrone, George Frazier, Ken Griffey, Oscar Gamble. They're all unhappy. And, they're all pissed off. And where is Billy going to even be back? They said the rumor was that Yogi was asked to take over as manager and declined.
Oh.
If Steinbrenner is looking for a way to swallow $1.2 million for Martin's final 4 years, he really doesn't need any excuse. It's part of his modus operandi. He's swallowed more contracts than you can recall. Fact. November 30th, 1983, George keeps Billy waiting, it says. He just says he's not going to tell him whether he's fired or not. So he's just sitting there in the offseason not knowing.
Yeah.
Steinbrenner says he'll make a decision on the manager soon because it's not fair to anybody not to get it done. So he said, I got to get it done and decide what I'm doing. He said that he promised a decision before Thanksgiving Day. He said, I've maintained all along that he would drag this thing out till at least Christmas, is what Billy said. And George said, I'm not dragging it out. I have been busy with other matters. I'll beat Christmas.
Okay.
I'll beat Christmas is a great line. So apparently nothing was determined about Martin's future at the meeting that they had. Certainly there was no indication from Steinbrenner that Martin wouldn't be back. He said Sapir said they talked about deal after deal, player after player. There's no reason to think that Billy would not be back. Billy wants to be the Yankee manager next year, and he expects to be. Period. Okay. December 17th, 1983, before Christmas, but after Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Billy's fired again. He's fired again.
Billy.
Bye, Billy. Wow, that's amazing. And replaced with Yogi Berra
Yeah.
at the end of the season, which I remember the Yogi Berra Yankee manager baseball card, 85 tops. I remember that very clearly. So, yeah, firing him and hiring Yogi. And he said Steinbrenner took pains to insist that Martin had not been fired, rather just had a job switch.
Oh.
You know, like they did with that other guy. Remember that? He said that's what he did. He said that the general unrest in the Yankee clubhouse pushed Steinbrenner to the brink of ending his third marriage with Billy. The Daily News reported in June that when Martin was dismissed, Steinbrenner's choice would be Berra, the popular Hall of Fame player. Steinbrenner said about Billy, "I'm shifting people around. Nobody's leaving. I'm doing what's necessary for everybody's best interests. Just mine, not just mine and Billy's, but for the team's too. These are decisions that have to be made, and I made them." Okay. Well, December 27th, 1983, Billy's got a new job. Billy's an actor now.
Oh, what?
He made a guest appearance on CBS's Trapper John, MD.
What even is that?
I believe that's a spinoff of MASH, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, Trapper John?
Trapper John is a MASH character that spun off, I believe. If I'm not. There was one. I know there was a medical show that was a spinoff of MASH that was somebody MD. So I think that's the one, and it makes sense because this is 85 or 84, 83, and MASH had ended. Yeah. It was ending in 82, 83, 84, something like that.
I don't know. I watched it when I was a kid, so I don't know if it was. I don't know if it was reruns. It probably was.
Oh yeah, who knows? Yeah. So around Christmas time, there was reports that Billy was hospitalized in Minnesota at the Mayo Clinic.
Oh.
One news report stated that Billy could have cancer.
Oh no.
On January 11th, back for a checkup at the Mayo Clinic, Billy met with a local wire service reporter. He said, "I don't have cancer."
Good.
Adding an unsolicited comment that he had not sipped a drop of hard liquor in 6 months.
Great.
He said he lost about 15 pounds because of surgery to remove bleeding hemorrhoids. "I don't have cancer.
No.
I have hemorrhoids."
My ass is fucking a nightmare. I'd rather have cancer.
My insides are great, though.
Yeah.
He had indeed, according to his friends, stopped drinking altogether except for the occasional beer or wine. He said he was disheartened about losing the Yankee managerial job, but not despondent. He said, "I'm not going to lie. I love managing. It's like living and breathing for me." Yeah. He said, but he's ready to take a step back. He said, "I'm very content with the way George has handled everything in true Yankee manner. I hope in the near future I can be of assistance to him and to the Yankees in any way." Yeah. Billy then used a smile, saying that he was going to spend some time in repose, like a man sitting in a rocking chair on a front porch. He said, "I haven't done anything like that for quite a while. I'm going to see what that feels like."
Okay.
All righty. So anyway, he sets the record straight. He said on a couple of things. He said, of all the knocks and all the kicks in the head, he said, you know what bothers him the most? It has to do with the story about him, one that was written and circulated on the belief that he had a habit of falling asleep on the Yankees bench.
I do not fall asleep, goddammit.
He said, "I never did that in my life." Mm-hmm. He said, "I'll tell you how this whole thing came about." And he said, that's what happened. He said that this is all bullshit. He said, one time, one writer came by and we talked about we wanted to talk to me out at the ballpark. Sorry. It was around 3 p.m. I'd been there since 1 or 2 and we had a night game. I was taking a nap. That's true. But I think I'm allowed to nap if I'm sick. I certainly wasn't sleeping on the bench during a ball game. The players weren't due at the park for another 2.5 hours, and we weren't scheduled to play for another 5 hours. Remember, I was sick. I don't see where I committed any crime. So it's bullshit. So at this point, he is Steinbrenner's top advisor. Oh. And he said the operation was for bleeding hemorrhoids, not cancer, like I've been hearing. I quit drinking in September. The only thing I drink now is Miller Lite.
Oh, Miller.
I quit drinking. I only drink beer now.
I only drink beer, yeah.
That's a real alcoholic right there.
Sure enough, yeah.
That's a true alcoholic. So I'm not drinking booze. I'm just drinking beer. That's not even drinking. Oh, my God. That is fucking hilarious. He said, I won't be going to spring training this year with the Yankees. I'll be going to Arizona where I'll be scouting. I don't know how it'll affect me sitting in the stands. I hope I've learned to sit there and observe and not second guess, but we'll see. So he said, I don't have a vendetta with any of the writers. As for Goose Gossage, he's a hell of a pitcher, and George and I have never been better friends. I want to help him and the Yankees win in any way I can. So there we go. Martin is done with the Yankees for now.
But he wants to win.
And he doesn't have a lot of time left. So there we will leave it off right there, and we'll come back. I believe we have 2 more parts, and that'll be it for Billy Martin here. So, and they're really a downhill slalom.
Yeah.
It's a fucking. He puts his skis on and he puts whatever that Clark Griswold fucking coating polish shit on the varnish for cereal, and he really fires off down there. So there you go. There is another Billy Martin episode.
Fantastic.
If you are enjoying any of this, please get on whatever app you're listening on and give us 5 stars. Helps a lot. Follow on social media at Crime and Sports. Definitely head over to shutupandgivememurder.com. Get all your merchandise and things like that. Tickets for live shows for 2026 for Small Town Murder and 1 for Your Stupid Opinions. They're going to come out next month as well, and we're going to put them on sale in December too. So keep your eyes peeled for that. Shutupandgivememurder.com. Patreon.com.
Oh, boy.
/CrimeInSports is where you get all of the bonus material. Anybody $5 a month or above, you get so much. You get hundreds of back episodes of Small Town Murder and Crime and Sports that you've never heard before immediately upon subscription. Binge on those. Then you get new ones every other week. 1 Crime and Sports, 1 Small Town Murder. This week, what we're going to do for Crime and Sports, we're going to do cyclist deaths.
Fantastic.
Bicycle racing is the most dangerous thing I've ever heard of. If you stack that up against NASCAR and shit, it doesn't even compare. Some bicycles blow it away. It's crazy. We're going to talk about that. Then for Small Town Murder, we're going to talk about Charles Starkweather, guy who killed 11 people and blamed a 13-year-old girl. That's a lot of fun. We'll get into that. And she wasn't an angel, but
kissing.
Come on now. So we was going out with, sort of. So we'll talk about all that and more. That is patreon.com /CrimeInSports. And you get all of the shows that we put out, all ad-free as well with your Patreon. And you get a shout-out at the end of the show as well, which is right now. Jimmie, do me a favor and hit me with this list of wonderful people here who would never, ever take notes from another person's toes. Hit me with them right now.
The executive producer of that's Rochelle Gentner.
Hey,
Kyle Norweg in the UK. He's going to come to the DC show, James.
Wow, see you there.
Gary Howard, happy birthday.
Gary. Hey, happy birthday, Gary.
Alina Montroy. Alenia. Don't look at me. Aaron Edsall. Angela Goulart, happy birthday. Katie Houghton, happy birthday. They're coming to Philly.
Happy birthday.
Katie and her husband are from the UK also, I believe.
Wow.
Yeah, it's amazing. People
Talk to you
flying
English
across
bucks
the
when we
ocean
get
to
there.
come see our dumb shit. That's fun.
Thank you. That always blows my mind.
Jamie Mutz, maybe Moots, Julie Martinez, Robin Baldaw, Joe Welch lost his mom, and he went to Tortilla Flats, James, and
sorry about
spread
that.
her ashes. That's nice.
Oh, that's nice. Okay, he was doing it for a
positive
reason.
Stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll get there.
Yeah.
Liz Vasquez, other producers this week. Liz Vasquez, Peyton Meadows,
Liz,
happy hour fishing on the Blue Bayou of Lafitte, Louisiana. Where's Lafitte? Lafitte? It's probably Lafitte. Right?
Lafitte, I would assume like the wine, because Lafitte is a French wine, so everything in New Orleans is French. That makes sense.
Ryan Bender, Janice Hill, Mima, Teresa Rubino, Pazia Kennedy. She put her name Teresa in quotes. I think Mima is the quotable part.
We'll call you Mima if you want.
Pazia, Kennedy, Franny McIntyre, Rainbow Preston, Valley Girl, Chris with no last name, Dahlia Grayson, Paleo Jen, Bean with no last name, Corellium Locus, I think Corellium, I don't know, Lindy
like
Peterson, Jeff Moore.
It's made out of Corellium Locus. It's impenetrable. Impenetrable.
Adam Hewson, Ariel Marquette, Morgan Casey, Tina Amaya, Susan Walsh, Luke Quigley, Scott VP, Stanley Daly, Crystal with no last name, Tessa Rivers, George Silawash, Teresa Delatorre, Natalie Rich, Jesse with no last name, Dylan Cook, Carl V, Justin Olson, Kyle Stubbs, Sarah Ash, Luna Pazdek, Vanessa Jenkins, Robin Wall, Stacy Hafner, Dale with no last name, Jack with no last name, Peanut Butterfly, 75, Chris Daniel, Tyler Pac-Man, Bates with no last name, Renee Neargarten. Oh, boy. Alex Smith, Jess Kennedy, Diggy with no last name, Dana Ellison, probably resigned to just listening to podcasts at this point in his life.
His leg all broken.
Pleasure to have you, Alex. It's been a long time. We barely knew you.
Sorry to offend your Mormon sensibilities, but...
Dana Ellison, Astrid, a.k.a. Sastrid. Love you, James. Evidently, you have to say that back now. There it is. Catherine Nichols, Emily Patterson Kane, Depeche Girl, Elizabeth Hill, Cameron K, Robbie W1RCP, Pitts, I don't know what any of that is. Seth with no last name, Susan Grant, Jessica Williams, Jamie Janway, Alyssa with no last name, Hammer Andronicus, Todd Smith, Justin with no last name, AJ Burke probably, William the Wicked, Jay Tiger, Kristen Grimes, Speedcore Dave, Megan Beasley, Krista Jackson, Speedcore.
Not hardcore.
That's how fucking badass he is. Krista Jackson, Peter Carmichael, BBQ Beans, Shelly Fain, Anthony Fernandez, Kimberly Strebler, Chris Stevens, Philip Dion, Mitchell. Nope, that's Michelle G. There was also Michelle B. that was in porn. That's probably not the same person.
It could be.
Brendan. Brendan Kodrowski, Chris Bedard, Vettard.
I love it.
Charles Meek. Charles Meek said that. Natalie Crespo, Trevor Gordon, Alice Crawford, Eric Fowler, Chris Haas, Morgan O'Shea, Alyssa D, Bad Mofo Inc. James, they are incorporated.
It's got a whole company. That's good to know.
Danielle Deadline.
You know. Hey.
Brad Savoya, John Perry. You can write all that bad motherfucker shit off. Gabriel Stansfield, Don Harmer, Jessica. Marlowe's kid. Jessica Coburn, Chastity, not Chastity.
Oh,
Chastity Drawdy. They fucked your name up, Chastity.
Damn,
it's supposed to be Chastity.
We're sorry your parents did that to you.
They missed a T. Sarah Young, Johnny Diaz, Lindsay Boyd, Rebecca with no last name, Mark with no last name, Chris Carr, Eric McMahon, Flapjack Short Stacks, Annie Nair, Jill Hanglin. Oh, we're getting that Nair money. C. Jean,
finally.
C. Green, 91, RD Zepp, 3, Jacob with no last name, Katie Olson, Herman Horsehair, Bug Fuzz, the 3rd, JC Novacek.
Wow.
Who was it? Was there
Jay
a Novacek?
Yeah, the tight end for the Cowboys.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
I see Czech and I go basketball.
Yeah.
Kinda with no last name. Brenna and Matthew Reichardt, Kelly Rogers, Mike Robinson, Amanda Fredericks, Lord Skullfucker.
Oh.
That's gross.
Wow. High
you could
exalted position.
Crystal Smith, Brennan Till, Jeff with no last name, Amos with no last name, Steve Stevens, L'Oreal Testa, Andrew Glenn, and all of our patrons. You're the best.
Thank you so much, everybody. You glorious, fantastic, wonderful bastards. Thank you for what you do for us. Honestly, we cannot tell you how much we appreciate it.
Very hard. Yeah.
We hope you love the Patreon stuff, and we hope you're digging the bonus shit. Thank you for hanging with us. Thank you for keeping this show going and keeping us sane and in business. We appreciate everything you do for us. You want to find us, head over to shutupandgivememurder.com. Drop-down menus will take you to social media, all that shit, wherever you need to go. But keep coming back, because we're going to be finishing up Billy Martin and doing all that. And live from the Crime and Sports Studios, we will see you next week.
Bye.